We are live, people. Welcome to the Fair One podcast. I'm going to catch the end of this lightweight clash, and then we will be ready for the main card. I just got on now. I just came back from the beach, to be fair. I was just having a swim with my daughter and just walked into a bit of a war, I see. Just going to do the intro for the podcast. And we are here with Garcia in side control. So I have no idea who's winning the fight. I just tuned in now. I have no idea with what's happening. Nice use of the underhook to get up for Gruetzemacher. And he did a good job of doing that. And now he's in a kind of like a head arm guillotine kind of thing. And they are beating the shit out of each other, these two guys. From what I've seen, anyways, I haven't seen a lot of the fight. I just tuned in now when I tuned in with you guys, and I thought, you know what, I'll just kick off now. So it's Chris versus Rafa Garcia, and they're just in the pocket, collar and tie, dirty Muay Thai, dirty boxing. I'm going to call it dirty Muay Thai, really. Garcia in on a single leg, tries to run the pipe, but good defense by Chris. Chris using the whizzer. I am going to call Chris and not his surname. It's a little bit hard for me to pronounce. Doing a good job of using the shield is Chris and the whizzer, but Garcia definitely has a better head positioning and the underhook. 2:27 to go in this second round. Interesting fight. It looks like it's been a close fight. I'm not sure how it's gone. Like I said before, I just tuned in now, so I don't know. Alex Collin says, afternoon, Fab. Afternoon here in NZ. Well, it's 11 a.m. for us, so we're not far off. We're not far off at all. How are you all, people? So I wonder how this card's going to go. You know, it doesn't have a whole lot of big names on it. It does look like it's a bit of a lackluster card, but sometimes it still produces really good fights. And here's the thing: I'm not criticizing the UFC when I say this. I'm actually giving them a pat on the back. It just shows you what an amazing job they do with their marketing. Because if this was any other card, like on any other fight show, nobody would watch this. No, there'd be zero people watching this fight if this was another fight card. But being that it's a UFC, we watch it. You know what I mean? Myself included. I've got nothing against that. Like, I'm just outlining what it is. So yeah, it's absolute battle here that's happening. Oh, big uppercut by Garcia, leg kick by Chris. Now again with the collar tie, elbows through the middle, splitting elbows by Chris. He's really hurt Garcia with a few of those elbows. Oh my God, when they tie up like that, Chris hits him with big elbows, man. And Garcia takes the back standing. He's in this right position, very good position here. Chris does a good job of getting his back to the cage, goes for a knee pick, doesn't get it. Hits Garcia with a little left hook. Nice stiff little jab, right hand over the top by Garcia to counter the jab, which is the correct punch to throw. So that was good work. Oh, man, these guys are just going to town, fighting in the pocket, elbowing the shit out of each other. Garcia is looking for a single again. Chris defends that. This is an absolute war. Again on the single leg. This time, Garcia gets the takedown right on the buzzer. Wow. Alex Collin says, good, mate. Got you live streaming off the phone in the gym. #bench. Nice work, Alex. Nice work, mate. And whatever it tells you to take on the bottle, take double, man. Take double. It's one life, one cycle. So, yeah, man, I don't know. This is not a bad fight. They're really punching the shit out of each other. Not shy about it at all. So I don't know. Let's see how this goes. Let's see how this fight goes today. Like how the card goes. But who do you guys have in the main event, and why? And more than why, how do you guys think it'll go, et cetera, et cetera. Elia says, "How are you, Uncle Fab? It's almost 3 a.m. here. I'm in bed watching the fights, and you're about to talk me to sleep, sir. Mate, everyone should have me as an app talking them to sleep." Ken Ahuna says, "Hello, Fab. Hello, sir." Big W says, "Sean Strickland with some clean boxing." He could do it. He could do it. The only thing I have with him is kind of how he holds his head a little bit, and is not good for someone like Uriah Hall. But I think he can come forward and pressure Uriah Hall. Man, this Chris guy came out blazing in this end of the third round. I mean, start of the third round. Elbows, like he gets in that clinch and he throws those big elbows. Oh, hits Garcia with a big uppercut as Garcia drops his level. Garcia drops his level again, but throws an overhand right. Oh, man. Man, these guys are fighting hard. Oh, big left hand down the middle hits Garcia flush. Garcia hits a double leg, gets Chris down. And again, he goes almost to side control. He is inside control. He's inside control now. There's 4 minutes to go. Chris is trying to hit him from the bottom with elbows. Garcia, this is an interesting one because Garcia's just holding him here. He's not really doing anything, but he is in side control. I don't think he can stand him up from side control. And on the flip side of that, Chris is not doing a huge job or effort at trying to get out from the bottom. Making some space, getting that underhook in, blocking off the hips. None of that is happening. I think both these guys are just exhausted in this position. And Garcia is happy to be here and mitigate some of the damage that he was taking when they were standing. But he does have such a dominant position, so it's a real interesting call. Now he's got shoulder pressure and the far side underhook. Chris is doing a good job of framing on the hip, so that allows his own hips to move and create a little bit of space, but he's not moving a lot of his hips either. He's just got his leg up a little bit to stop Garcia going in the mount, but Garcia's not looking like he's even wanting or trying or even thinking of going to mount. Yeah, they both look exhausted, but Garcia's very, very exhausted. Give me 1 second, guys. I don't know enough about Nico Montano to give you a proper breakdown on him. Not at all. So I apologize for that. I will keep my eye on this person, but I don't know enough. That's the truth of the story. Man, Chris is landing some big shots on the feet. It's more or less all Chris. There was no real damage done by Garcia on the ground. It's not all Chris, but he is getting the better of the exchanges. He's definitely getting the better of the exchanges. Oh, that uppercut, that right hand uppercut is money. And he rips to the body. Now Garcia landing some hooks of his own to the head of Chris, but there's not a lot on him. He's obviously visibly exhausted, is Garcia. Garcia with a nice double leg puts Chris on his back. But again, he's just kind of laying there holding the position. The butterflies are in from Chris. This will give him an opportunity to be able to elevate and make some space and be able to push off. There's a minute to go here. Garcia really needs to do something, I think, because even for him to win this round, most of the damage has come from Chris. I haven't seen a lot of damage come from Garcia. Again, I haven't seen the whole fight. I don't know how the first round went. So, yeah. But even from now, from the bottom, Chris is still landing the better shots. Andre says, Fab, just curious, who do you think wins tonight in Bellator, McKee or Pitbull? I don't know, man. I really don't know that one. It's interesting because I'd say, it's a very interesting one because it's quite a clash along various different routes. Sorry, 17 seconds to go. Chris gets back to his feet. No real damage done by Garcia in that exchange on the ground. Big knees down the middle. There's 7 seconds to go. Looks again for the takedown, does Garcia. Chris is trying to fight it off. Oh, Garcia just misses with a right hand. They're right there, right in each other's faces, but they give each other a big hug. It was a crazy fight, though. They did beat the shit out of each other, though. I don't know who won that fight. I have no idea. I didn't see the first round. Anyways, I think it's a clash of styles in a number of ways. Number one is just their length. The way that they're built. Pitbull being a shorter, like big hitter, good jiu-jitsu, but he's just like a big kind of bully guy. The other guy, McKee, he's longer, he's more, I wouldn't say athletic, but he fight because Pitbull's pretty athletic. But he's just a different kind of fighter, fights more at range. He's got unorthodox grappling. Comes from a second generation. He is the second generation of very good fighter. And then there's the age difference. I think that McKee could do it, being that he's the younger guy. But I wouldn't be able to tell you who I think will win, man. I think that because I think Pitbull's very weathered. He's got very, very good experience. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to win, and he's got good names on his resume. But then McKee is, the hubris of youth. You can't bet against that a lot of the times. Uriah says, depends if Sean uses foot stomps or not. No, seriously, I'll go for Strickland. Uriah is a good fighter. He can decide the tempo of the fight. I'm glad you said that, Uriah. I'm really glad you said that, because that's one of those things. Like, people say, Uriah runs, Chris won. So yeah, what I saw, he won of the fight, but I didn't see the whole fight. People say that, like, they'll go, oh, he's this, he's that, da da da. He, if he's right in his head, he does well. And the thing is, man, with Uriah is, when he decides the tempo of the fight, that's when you see Uriah. When he doesn't, you don't generally see it unless he can get like a knockout from behind. You know what I mean? But generally, you don't see it. If you let Uriah Hall, and this is 10 times out of 10, if you let Uriah Hall dictate the pace, the tempo, the distance of the fight, he will look. There's no one in the world that's going to beat him. You know what I mean? He'll look amazing. If he can't do that for whatever reason, like, whether you're kicking with him and you're getting to the kick first, you're trying to take him down, you're smothering him, you're pushing him back, all that kind of stuff. If you can do that, then he's not the same guy. You know what I mean? He's not the same guy. Now, that isn't necessarily a criticism. That's just how he fights. Because when Uriah Hall is on, he's on, mate. He's very, very, very hard to beat. Andre says, in the first, Garcia blew his load trying to get the finish. I see. Okay. All right. I didn't see that first round. Yeah, so that's my thing. I'm glad you said that, because a lot of the times people talk about it, and they talk about, like, oh, he's the way, even he might say it. But what I see is, like, it's not a great mystery. It's when he can dictate the fight, when he can dictate the pace, he's unbeatable. When he doesn't dictate the pace, and the other person's not afraid of him, and the other person's coming forward and attacking him and not giving him time and space to react, then he doesn't look the same. Uriah says, mate, this fight shit is only worth it if you reach the absolute top and make millions. If you don't, you've been fucked in life. It's funny you say that too, because there's a there's a point, and I talk about this a lot with guys that I coach, not just in combat sports, but in collision sports, as well, rugby league, rugby union, sports like that I've been involved with, other combat sports. And when I'm working with someone, like, that's one of the things you gotta realize who you are and what you are in the fight. If you're a guy that you're a championship fighter, that you can win championships or be up there contending for the belt, then you should go all in and go for that. if you're a fighter that's like more like a leverage kind of fighter, like you can leverage your career off that, then you need to understand that you still train your ass off, go the hardest you can, but that's a little bit different. That's a fighter that needs to make sure that 2 fights into their fight career, they already open up a little gym or a cafe or whatever they're going to do, and they're advertising that, etc. Da 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 da. Because not everyone's going to get to the belt, and you've got to understand how good you are and how. And then there's another guy that's not even good enough to be a leverage fighter, and you got to understand if you're that guy too, And if to me, if you're that the last guy that I said, like you shouldn't be fighting, man, because you're going to get hurt real bad, and you're not going to make money. You're not going to even be able to leverage a career off it. So, um, you're just going to get hurt, man. Your brain cells, all that kind of shit. That's going to get you're going to get hurt. That's the only way I can say it to you, for nothing, for no money, for nothing at all. And people can say, yeah, but he loves to fight, and I'm like, well, then fight. I don't know. That's up to you. I'm just giving you my opinion. Like, I just know it's not good for you, and it's not good for you if you're not going to make anything out of it. Joseph says, "Hey, coach, did we get the right time tonight?" Unbelievable, man. Unbelievable. Machadi says, "What's up, coach? Glad to see you at it as always. Just stopping by to drop a like, man. I really appreciate it so much, man. Thank you so much." Christian Lorenz says, "Hello, great fab, happy weekend." Thank you, sir. You too. Logan Tuddy says, "Thoughts on Bryan Barbarina? He always has awesome fights." Honestly, when I think Bryan Barberena, that's what I think. I think this guy fights. He comes in and he fights, and the fight's always exciting. My thoughts in as far as what can I see him being a top contender? Can I see him? I think he's one of those guys that's at least at this point in his career, kind of more, more of a. I'm just bringing up his record now. Like I've watched him fight a bunch. He's a guy that he wins some and he loses some. He wins some and he loses some. But he beats some good guys and he's lost to some good guys. Perfect example. Will he be a championship contender? I don't know. He knows that better than me. But I'm not saying that he won't be. But that's what I mean. He's a very good fighter that might not ever fight for the belt, but he's very good. And I like him, man. I think he's a very, very good fighter, and I think he's always there, puts on exciting fights. I just hope he gets paid. It's Marvin Gaye, Christian Laurent. Marvin Gaye. Chuck Les says, "Can Uriah Hall win a second fight without throwing a punch? Sad news. Chris's leg didn't heal properly, and he's getting a second surgery." Yeah, man. Like, that's very common with those kind of injuries, though, man. It's very, very common with those kind of injuries. Like, when people are talking about it, like, it's not a foregone conclusion that like he's walking around and this and that. Like, nah, it's very common, man. Very, very common. Who James Tahuna broke his arm. He blocked Igor Prokryak's kick and on the forearm and snapped his arm. And same thing, he had to get like he like the arm completely snapped, and they had to put a metal plate in his arm and this and that. Then his body rejected it. It was a whole fucking mess. So it's not as simple. Whenever they open up your body like that and mend shit and put pins through it and bolts and that, it's not just a simple thing. Joseph says, "Hey, are you doing commentary exclusively on the UFC card tonight? Kind of want you to commentate on the Usman fight on Bellator." Man, I don't know. After yesterday's debacle, I don't know that I will be. Machadi says, "Some people are just built different. Some don't belong. Very important to be honest before you destroy yourself." Man, if you don't do that, like it's with it, like anything, not just fighting, like you have to make a correct assessment on yourself, and I mean, that changes as well. Like you might go, "Oh, I'm pretty good here. I just want to win nationals at blue belt." And you get there and you're like, "Okay, cool. Fuck, that's mad. I can do that." or I want to win nationals at purple belt and I want to compete at mundials. And it all depends, mate. If daddy's rich and you can just fucking travel and go do that. But I'm saying, look, if you're not and you have to go, all right, well, I've won blue belt nationals, I've won nationals at purple belt. I'm going to give mundials a shot at purple belt. You win that. Now you're starting to go, holy fuck, all right, I'll reassess. But you can't go from you're a white belt and just believe in yourself and go, I'm going to mortgage my house and I'm going to try this whole thing with the BJJ submission grappling circuit because I believe in myself. No, you're not that level, dude. And then maybe you go out there and you don't win mundials at purple belt and you get your brown belt and you don't win nationals at brown belt, right? You don't win nationals at brown belt and you're still training and you don't win nationals at black belt. You get your black belt, but you're a good, solid dude, man. And then you find out you're a great coach. You know what I mean? And you set up a school and it's perfect. That works out great. It's just you have to assess yourself, and it's not, there's a point there where people are like, and it's not about being negative. It's about understanding what you do well and double down on that. You know what I mean? Rather than you, like, I don't know, man. People have this whole fucking, they can only have conversations about unicorns and rainbows, like it's only got to be good. Like, and it is good. You just got to assess. Like, I'm not saying to you, let's say you can't fight. I'm saying, or you can't win a championship if you're in the UFC. That's not where I'm going to be at. But I'd be saying to people like, one fight at a time. There are people that are obviously, and if you haven't, you've never competed at top level, like, or you've never seen people that are top level. I've seen guys, I've coached guys, I've trained, and I've trained always, whatever sport I played, I was always one of the hardest trainers. But there were guys who were just so much more talented than me. Eli, the other guy that sometimes hosts with me, he played reserve grade for Parramatta, reserve grade NRL, which is high level, And he said to me, he goes, man, he ended up breaking his face in a separate incident, but he has, regardless of that, I wouldn't have made it. Like the level was different. Like the guys, and I remember I played basketball and there were guys that, like, I would do everything to maybe, hopefully, get on the court. You know what I mean? Like, and I played at an okay level, and there were guys that, they could just turn up. You know what I mean? And that was that, and that was a big difference, man. And that exists. Of course, man. All things being equal, the guy that works harder is going to go further. But not all things are equal. Elia says, have you ever had the conversation with a fighter where you said this might not be for you? I've had that conversation a lot of times with a lot of different people that I've worked with or that I've mentored, not just in fighting. Like there's people that it's not for them, dude, and they need to hear it and they want to hear it. To be honest with you, a lot of the times, because I don't sit there and say to people, this isn't for you. Who the fuck am I to say that? Like they kind of end up saying it themselves, like this isn't for you. Well, generally, what I'll say to people is like what I think they can do, what I think that they can achieve, what I think their ceiling can be, and it's usually always a positive thing. It's never a negative thing. It's always more than what they think they could achieve. But there's dudes that just like they might have the talent, but they don't want to do the work. It's easy. It's fucking easy to train hard. It's easy. What's hard is you not going out with your mates when they want to go out. You not drinking. You not going out to a party. You making all the sessions, making all the boring sessions, doing the yoga sessions. That's what's fucking hard, and that's what separates a guy being top 10, top 6, and being a champion. You know what I mean? Like the guys that go, no, I'm going to do all of it and tick off all the little boxes, man. Make sure I eat right, make sure I don't, and then you see good dudes like party and shit, and they go, oh no, but so-and-so parties and that. And I can tell you right now, he might party that day that you saw him, but the rest of the time they're doing what they have to do. I haven't seen the choke that McKee pulled off. Christian Lorenz says, Fab, if McKee sleeps Pitbull tonight, does he have a claim to be Bellator's greatest featherweight at 18-0, or would he need some title defenses as well? I think he'd need some title defenses. That's just me. That's just me. That's just me. I don't know. TJC says, today I've been day drinking, playing golf, and eating bad buffalo pizza. I'm going to try and stay awake. I think Strickland has a lot of potential. Love to watch fights with your Fab. Likewise, sir. I have to say I do. Um, I was having, I won't say who, but I was having buffalo wings with a friend of mine. And he said to me, what part of the fucking buffalo are the wings from? And I looked at him and he knew because I'm one of those people that just going to give you shit afterwards. And he knew, man. He knew. The moment he said it, he's like, fucking hell. I can't believe I said that. I can't believe I said that with you here. And it just fucking cracked me up. And just when you said that, it made me laugh. Gary the Goat says, good day to you, Fab. Thanks for being here. No, thank you, guys. Henry says, has anyone called you Fabulicious, Fab? Fabulicious has been done, mate. It's been done. Christian Lorenz says, Fabulous there. He's the mob boss who controls the dingo fence, tames the feral cats, and ships drugs to and from New South Wales. Anthony B says, so if I don't have a social life, I could be a UFC champion. You can still have a social life. You can still have a social life. It's not like that, like crazy. You just have to be smart with what you're doing. You know what I mean? And you also have to think, like you have a career that's relatively short. You know what I mean? Like you want to make sure that you're hitting your things the most you can because it's not like you're getting a law degree and you could really honestly you could start hitting your stride at 50 with a law degree. Now, if you could have cruised around until you're about 45, 50 and gone, you know what, I'm gonna I really found my fucking niche or whatever. That's not the case with fighting. By the time a lot of the guys mature, their bodies are like, yeah, but I'm out of here, man. There's young cats coming through. So we're off, people. We got Witt in the white and Barbarina in the black. Barbarina's in the southpaw stance. Witt in the orthodox stance. Witt looks like a very put together fellow. He's a little bit shorter than Barbarina, but should be a real interesting thing. They're both respecting each other's power. Witt looks like a little nugget, man. He's not little. He'd be my height, but he's a put together dude, man. Barbarina fainting with a kick from southpaw. Well, that's a good kick to be throwing from that position. Is that front kick when you use southpaw to orthodox? Not enough people employ it, but Barbarina's doing a good job with his feints of keeping Witt at bay. Witt doubling in on a jab, but Barbarina does a good job of sliding out of the way. Nothing's connected yet. Nothing's come even close to connect. Oh, nice left-hand lead by Barbarina down the pipe. Hits Witt flush. Witt looks a little bit like Canelo. A little bit from some angles, not from others. And it amuses me. And Barbarina's trying to find a home for that little hook over the top of Barbarina's jab. When Witt steps in with that little jab, Barbarina's looking for a home. Nice single leg to body lock, and Witt gets him down straight away. Great work by Witt. That's why I was hoping that Barbarina would be throwing that that front kick down the middle. It's a really, really, really good attack, from southpaw to orthodox against a good grappler. Witt is fucking scary the way he got Barbarina down, though, man. Like, he got him down, like, pretty quickly, easily, with a minimum of fuss. He does look like a juggernaut, does Witt. Now, Witt is in half guard now, but it's interesting when these good wrestlers get to that half guard because it's basically a Turk ride in wrestling, and they can just sit on that leg and not let you turn, and basically using it as a pin. So it's very, very nice job. They call him the vanilla gorilla. I've just looked him up. That was really good takedown, man. I was really, really impressed. I did not think he'd have that takedown in him like that. Not that he can't wrestle, but Barbarina is good, man. The original sin says what Coach Fab said is that there is no shortcut to success. Yeah, there isn't, dude, unless you're like supremely talented, But when you get to the upper echelons, dude, like the other guys are supremely talented as well, So you have to understand that. Like, and again, like I think what you said there, everyone defines social life differently as well. Like that I think is a big one. And one thing is, even dudes can go out and party and whatnot and the rest of it, but I think you you going off your nuts week in week out is not going to be beneficial to your career. Witt again, man, he's really doing a good job here against this cage. Oh, Barbarina hits Witt with a big right hand. Hit him with a big right hand. Then I thought he rocked him. I'm sure he rocked him. There's a minute and 10 seconds to go. Barbarina has gotten up from the bottom. Whilst Witt had a lot of control time there, he didn't really do anything to hurt Barbarina, you know. And Barbarina now is starting to gain a little bit of confidence, I think. And I think he gained a little bit of confidence from the fact that Witt wasn't able to do anything from that position. Barbarina's getting like Witt looks like his muscles, his arms are getting a little bit full of blood, and they're not moving as well. They're more laborious than they were earlier in the fight. And Barbarina is now starting to move nicely, and I believe that Barbarina should start to use that left front kick a little bit more. Because that left front kick, you just snap it out, not like a teep, just like a little snap out. Big double leg by Witt. There's 18 seconds to go. Once again, he sits in that Turk ride, and now he's starting to land a few little elbows, but so does Barbarina from the bottom. 5 seconds to go. I don't know who wins that round. I mean, you'd have to give it to Witt, I suppose, but yeah, you'd have to give it to Witt on the strength of he got the takedowns. He had the majority of time, you know, where he was in a dominant position, but I think Barbarina's probably going to catch him later in this fight. Original Sin says, I don't drink or take drugs, but I would go out for a dance sometimes and have a great time, and I'll go home before 11 p.m. Yeah, everyone's different, man. Like, everyone's completely different. TJC says, you ever had a fighter you thought could have been special but couldn't commit to the hard life of a fighter? Yeah, there's more of those than any guy that you see. There's more of guys. Not just fighters. Like, because like I said, I've worked with a lot of different athletes. But not just fighters, like different athletes, man. There's a lot of guys that shoulda, coulda, woulda. More of those guys than the guys that make it, for sure. The guys that make it are the top of the pyramid, but for every one of those guys that you see, there are so many that just got left by the wayside for a million different reasons. Not just the fighter, for like a lot of different disciplines. We're off, people. We're off. Barbarina looking a little bit more alive. He's starting to feint and push Witt back a little bit more. What I was saying earlier, I'd like to see the front kick. It's a front kick. I don't want to see a teep. I want to see a little front snap kick that keeps people off you a little bit. And if you hits a body, it hurts still. Also, when Witt comes in with a big right hand, but Barbarina's starting to corral him a little bit. If Barbarina can stop some of the take, he's hit, man. Witt's got a chin. Barbarina hit him with a right hook over the top, hit the temple, then a left hand on the chin. But I do think that Witt's going to start to slow down a little bit more, and Barbarina's going to get the better of him in the stand up. Anytime that you can stop a takedown, you know, whenever there's a situation where somebody's shot a takedown, wrestled you against a wall, got you down, and you got back up, any of the situations there, right there and then, as soon as before it breaks off completely, you should throw a little knee, a little front kick to the body. Nothing hard, nothing that you are loading up on, but it just disrupts their breathing. Because as soon as you've had a big grappling exchange, you want to take your breath. You want to take your breath and regather. In that moment, you throw that little shot to the body, and it doesn't let them get that rhythm. Barbarina's starting to take up some space here. A big double leg by Witt, missed. Wings on a right hand. Nice little front kick by Witt. But it takes the energy out of you, man, shooting doubles and not getting them. Christian Lorenz says, the dark side of Rob goes out at night with an AR taking out every feral cat he sees. I don't know, Chris. I don't know. Henry says, Fab, if you could tame any wild animal on earth as as a pet, which animal would you choose? I would choose a wedge-tailed eagle, my friend. I would choose a wedge-tailed eagle. Big double leg by Witt, gets full guard of Barbarina. At this stage now, he'll win both rounds if this stays the way it is. Barbarina's got a closed guard, and he's holding the posture down of Witt, and Witt's kind of happy to be down there as well. Problem for Barbarina when this happens is this gives Witt a chance to rest somewhat, rather than if Barbarina didn't capitulate, if someone takes you down, you got to pop up right that second, right there and then. So they don't have that time to breathe and they don't have that time to settle. Now Barbarina's gotten up, but that did create a lot of effort for Barbarina, and Witt was able to rest a little bit, but he did get back to his feet. There's 2 minutes to work. Barbarina really needs to make Witt work here. Wedge-tailed eagles because they're fucking massive, dude. Oh! Barbarina gets dropped. Witt looks for a guillotine. He's got an arm in guillotine. It's in deep. I don't know what kind. No, he's going the right way, is Barbarina, but I don't know how dazed he is. And this guillotine looks super tight. He's trying to pull out of it. That's not what you should be doing. You should be trying to push the pressure down with his right shoulder into the chest of Witt, which is what he's trying to do now. But it's on super tight. I don't know how much if this is going to gas Witt's arms out. Man, it's on tight. And he fought it and he's out. Witt kicks off. Great job by Barbarina to get out of that. Oh, my God. I don't know how much this would have blown Witt's arm, Witt's bicep, the right bicep where he was squeezing. Looks like a golf ball, dude. It looks like a massive golf ball. There's 52 seconds to go. You got to imagine that would have taxed his arms somewhat. Oh, big left hand. He eats it from Barbarina, but Witt just comes forward. Witt is hard as nails. 39 seconds to go. Barbarina's being held up against the cage. He's not coming forward, and against someone like Witt, who's just a powerful wrestler, you can't capitulate that much space. And he gets him down again, and straight into that Turk ride position. 18 seconds to go. He's going to see this round out, and now he's 2 rounds in the bag. I don't think Barbarina is going to win this fight. I could be wrong, but I don't think so. Gary the Goat says, Fab, if you had to pick right now whose hand gets raised in the main event, I can't pick one there, man. I can't. I really can't, because that's going to come down to what happens in that fight. You know what I mean? Like if Strickland starts to get his game off, starts to get his jab, starts to get his timing right, starts to hit the 1-2s down the middle, and he's able to push Uriah Hall back, Uriah Hall's going to have problems, and I don't see Uriah Hall winning. If Uriah Hall can move, get out of the way, as Strickland tries to close the gap, Uriah Hall's able to hit him with some big shots, big kicks, beat him to the jab a couple of times, and Strickland starts to pull his head back, and Uriah Hall can make him start biting on his feints, Uriah Hall's going to win. But without seeing that, at least at the start of the fight, I don't know. And Uriah Hall's a guy that can change it on a dime. So I don't know. I wouldn't be able. This one's a hard one to call. I don't know if I maybe have to give Hall the fact that he's a veteran with so many wins, and his style against Strickland, maybe he'd be the favorite. But I don't know. Henry says, Witt looks like Canelo's creepy brother. He does. At Fab, who's the person on your t-shirt? It's Marvin Gaye. We're off, guys. First round. Third round. Sorry, guys. Third round. 2 rounds in the bag for Witt. They exchange a right hand but both exchange right hands. So it was a straight right by Witt and a check hook by Barbarina. Barbarina is slowly getting pushed towards the cage by Witt. Witt's doing a good job of corralling him into the cage, and I believe he's going to shoot a double and get the takedown without further ado from Witt, because he's been able to do that without much resistance from Barbarina. Very strong man, mate. He does. He looks like a cross between Barnett and Canelo. That's who he looks like. Elia says Witt looks like a mini Barnett. That's who he looks like to me. Daniel Zamet says, "Hey Fab, hope you're doing well. Last time you mentioned the concept of sequential learning and learning new skills and for career improvement. Any books or resources you can recommend on the topic?" You know what's good? I think this is one of the things like people talk about. I'm gonna answer this one probably in like it's gonna take me a while because I'm kind of caught up in this fight. So I'll answer that after this fight. So we got Witt creeping forward. Nice, shoots a nice single, but Barbarina defends it. There's 3 minutes and 30 seconds to go. They're trading in the middle. He's rocked. Witt is rocked. Barbarina I do believe that Barbarina has the better hands out of the two. Witt's trying to run away. Oh, knees in the clinch there. I think Barbarina does have the better hands, but I don't know if he's left his run too long because I think he has to get the finish here to win. And I think Witt might be able to still secure a takedown. I think in an actual boxing match, Barbarina will get him. Especially his like muscles are all full of blood. Easy single leg there for Witt. Barbarina goes looking for a guillotine. He's in deep on this guillotine, but Witt does a correct job of circling in towards the thumb, and then Barbarina goes for the reverse crossface, which Witt then goes straight to the back. Witt wants his takedown, gets it from a body lock. It's got one hook in. Barbarina's doing a good job of getting back to his feet. He's in deep, is Witt. I don't know if his hands are linked. His hands are linked. Barbarina goes looking for a guillotine. If you go for looking for a guillotine, you are going to get taken down. So if you go looking for a guillotine, you got to know that your guillotine's on point. And now he's got side control. And he's gone back to the Turk ride, has Witt, which is very, very smart of him to do that. 2 minutes to go. I don't know that he'll hold Barbarina down there for the whole 2 minutes. But I do think he wins this fight comfortably now. Barbarina's doing a good job there. He managed to get his underhook back. He's going to get to his feet. He's got 1 minute and 45 seconds to finish Witt here. Oh, they're just exchanging now. When Barbarina hits him and he's like starts throwing his hands a little bit more, he gets a lot of good success. He's the better out of the two striking. He's landing 2 shots here on Witt. Witt's in all sorts of trouble, man. He doesn't have a lot of gas left. He keeps coming forward looking for the takedowns. Swings with the left hand of his own. Both guys connecting. There's 1 minute and 10 seconds to go. Barbarina has to stop the takedowns at all costs. Spinning back fist by Witt. Barbarina drops Witt. He drops Witt, but Witt keeps going for the single leg. He's got 1 minute to go. Witt is so tough, but he has to work on his boxing. You can tell his hands are full of blood, man. He does not have, his arms are full of blood. He does not have the shots. His boxing is not crisp and technical either. So 55 seconds to go. He has to hold Barbarina down. I believe Barbarina has won this round, but I do think that Witt has won the other two. And again, when I say this, I give the disclaimer that I am not judging this fight, my friend. I am just watching it and commentating on it. He goes looking for a Kimura. Does Barbarina, is he going to turn this into a Kimura trap? He can take the back, but he opts not to. He uses that to get up. There's 30 seconds to go. Witt goes looking for the single leg again. He goes looking for a right hand, does Witt. Barbarina's tired too. There's 23 seconds to go. He hits Witt on the chin with his left hand. Oh, he's looking for his mouth guard. He's get your hands up, Witt. 15 seconds to go. Witt picks up his mouth guard as Barbarina is punching him. Oh, this is going down to the wire. Barbarina slips on a kick. Oh, man, it's going to finish here, and I think Witt's going to get this win. Wow, what a fight. That was crazy. So Zamet, in answer to your questions, Daniel Zamet, that was a crazy fucking fight. They beat the shit out of each other. Any books or resources you can recommend on the topic? One group of people that I think is massively underutilized in coaching are teachers. A bit more in MMA, but a lot of the guys like you see in soccer and NRL, like they were teachers by trade. And that's what teachers do. They put together learning programs, you know, and teachers get a very bad rap a lot of the times. But if I were you, I'd look at resources involved with any type of educational resources. I'd speak to teachers. I'd speak to teachers in how they how they put together learning programs for kids to learn to read and write, and just other aspects of how do people learn, because that's what I'd be looking at with myself. I'm a teacher by trade, so but what I teach at like at college, and a lot of the times when you get someone come through, they might be 17, 18 years old. TAFE is like what would be, I don't know, maybe junior college over there, or community college, junior college, somewhere along there. But we have degrees in that too, so I don't know, whatever the equivalent would be. When people come to to your class, they might be 18 years old, and you have all sorts of different skill gaps. So you have to be able to identify the skill gaps. There are people that get through, all through high school. They don't get necessarily the best marks, but they get all the way through high school, and they aren't able to read and write properly. And they get through because they're able to, they have good people skills. They, get by. They finish this assignment one way or another, copy their friends' work, whatever, and they get through. They don't do great work, but they get through. Then they get to adulthood, and you have to be able to identify all those skill gaps and then say, man, we're going to fix these skill gaps and get them the appropriate people to teach them the skill gaps. And fighting's no different. You might get a guy that's 24 years old. He's got really good hands, not really good boxing, just good hands, good power, and wrestled a little bit and blah blah blah. So you got to find those skill gaps and then put that into learning. And the sequential learning is the best way I can put it is like, when you have a kid that does year 7 at one school and does year 8 and year 9 at another school, then does half of year 10 at another school, and then does the other half at a different school. All these different schools, whatever reason, their parents move around, parents got divorced, whatever, their learning is affected immensely because they don't have that sequential learning. You're like learning bits and pieces from different points. So Sank says, greetings from Toronto, Fab. Are you watching the Bellator card? I don't think so. 53 cases in Brizzy, Fab. Why are people so dumb? I don't know, my friend. I don't know. I'll be back in a second. Yeah, no, I probably won't, man, because after I do this card and that, I'll have to go to the beach and that with my wife and my baby and blah 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 blah. Alex Collar says book recommendations: Book of Five Rings by Musashi. Very very good book. Read that book. Very good book. Joseph says, "Hey coach, why is it best to stretch after a workout? What does stretching do to your muscles? After a workout, it helps to try and return your muscles to their resting length. People will say it doesn't, it does, blah, 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 blah. There's all sorts of literature everywhere, but I guarantee you'll feel a lot better if you stretch after your workouts. So hopefully that's the short answer is that just helps to return the muscles to a resting length. Zed says, "Can you sing the He-Man theme in Spanish, Fab?" I will when we get to 50,000 subscribers. Please like and subscribe if you haven't already, and hit the notification bell so you get notifications. This fight should be an interesting fight that's coming up now with the Armenian fellow. And again, another name I can't pronounce, but yeah, that should be a good card. The good fight. Melsik versus Collin Anglin, and I'm gonna just call him Melsik. I can't say. I'm assuming it's Baghdasaryan, but it's easier to say Melsik. Not bad, this Melsik as well. Not bad at all. So we'll see how he goes. He's very, very good kickboxer. Not the best ever, but he's good. He's a well-rounded, good fighter. So let's see how he goes. Quet says, "Hey brother, Berkshire, New England, tuning in. Welcome, my friend. Thank you so much for joining us. New England is on my to-go-to list. Is one of the places that I've always wanted to go. I don't know why, but I just want to go there. I've always wanted to go there." Uriah says, "Coach, no lie, I'm going to McDonald's for my first time ever next weekend. My cheat meals were always pizza or tacos, but I want to try the damn Big Mac. Is it any good?" I like a good burger, man. I'm not going to lie to you. I kind of stay away from McDonald's and all of that just because I'm a fucking savage and I eat and eat and eat and eat. But I like a good burger. And look, Big Macs are like, as far as like burger joints go, yeah, I mean, I suppose they're good. But I like Hungry Jack's burgers more. If we're talking about just the fast food ones, and I'm not talking about the ones like that you have in the US. The US, I have to say, do good burgers, you know. Like In-N-Out burgers are good, you know. I told you my In-N-Out burger story before. But yeah, Big Macs are good. But I like good burgers. Like if I can get a good burger, I'm a happy camper, you know. Yeah, I agree with Cooper. There's better options. Cassandra Nadella says, "Coach Fab, first time watching the companion live. Much respect from Toronto." Thank you, man. Thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us. I really appreciate it. I really, really do. So thank you so much. Joseph says, "Stay away from Tim Tams too, Coach. Those are the devil, man. Tim Tams, mud cake, chocolate. Jaffas, man. I had Jaffas last night because my wife's pregnant, you know, and so but I get fat. She doesn't get fat. I'm the one that gets fat. So yeah, she wanted Jaffas and Maltesers, and I had Jaffas for the first time in I don't know how long, years, like years. I haven't had Jaffas since high school. They are good, man. Jaffas are good. Donuts. I'm a big fucking big sucker for donuts. Pies, meat pies. If anyone's had like a meat pie from Australia, the best. Sausage rolls, the best. What else? What else are poison foods? Pizza's poison food for me. Like all of those. And it's not just the food; it's how much of it I eat. What else? I love banh mi's. Banh mi's are fucking unreal. I'm making myself hungry, watching like talking about this. Cooper Marion says, "In-N-Out is all right. What a burger is where it's at in America." Okay, all right, cool. Well, I will try that next time I'm there. But in general, I like to have burgers not from like fast food outlets. Like if you find a good burger joint that does, there's a place in Wollongong here that does Godfather burgers. I think they're called Godfathers or something like that. They do a good burger to a point that oh fuck, I can't even travel to get one. But I would have gone after this to get one. Look, good burger's good. TJC says the Lewis Garney fight should be great, but putting a belt on it is really weak. Everybody knows without Francis, John Jones, or Stipe, it means nothing. It's not a real UFC title at the moment. Who cares? You know what I mean? Like, who cares? Like, I think that's exactly what it is, an interim belt for whatever reason. And I think they're doing it to make the fight with Francis even bigger, you know? So it's champion against champion. I think that's why they're doing it, sell more pay-per-views, et cetera, et cetera. That's what I think. I think there's no real reason for it to be an actual interim. Gary the Goat says, "Fab, come to San Diego and I'll take you to the renowned her dad's, as long as you pay for petrol. That's what they. You know what? I don't mind paying for petrol if I'm in San Diego. Gary the goat. I am actually not a tight ass at all, but it was the way they did it, man. And then the lady, the I told you that she sent me a message later because she watched the podcast or somebody watched the podcast and told her. And I wasn't even bagging them. I'm just saying what it was like. They made such a thing when I went to pay for their burgers. Like, that's what I did. I didn't say I wasn't going to pay for them. I went to pay for their burgers. And they're like, no, 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 no. We pay for our own. We pay for our own. Then they charged me like $7 or $12 or whatever it was for the petrol for driving around. TJC says, if you're ever on Long Island, go to All American in Massapequa. Great burgers and fries. See, that's oh, thank you so much. That's what I like when knowing those places like that. My wife just made a smoothie with, I don't know, not tomatoes, strawberries, and some other green stuff. I'm assuming it's kale or spinach or something, and yogurt and bananas. So shout out to my wife. Thank you so much. Joseph says, be careful, coach. They might be watching and might end up suing you this time. They might. They're a special couple. Christian Lorenz says, Fab, that fight between Bryan and Witt was a savage dog fight. It was a crazy fight. Joseph says, Lick's Burger here in Toronto, Fab. Will you come visit? I'll take you. Just pay for my mortgage. Christian Lorenz says, has Baby Chino been watching the Aussie Olympic matches behind your back? We actually watched the judo together, her and I and my wife. They had the judo, like the dual meet that France beat Japan. I got into it, man. I was pretty excited to watch it. It was pretty cool the way they did it. It's the first time they've ever done a dual meet like that at an Olympics for judo. And my daughter was just clapping along. Whenever anyone clapped, she clapped. Elia says, I'm happy they get the interim belt because that will mean they'll earn pay-per-view money. They freaking deserve it. Agreed. Although the pay-per-view money is not that much money. You have to draw like big numbers to get decent pay-per-view money. Like big numbers. France has amazing judo, says Christian Laurent. Yes, they do, man. They have very, very good judo. Well, they just beat the Japanese in Japan for the dual meet. But I've got family in France, and they my uncles and that do judo over there. We're about to start. I'm really interested to see how this goes. And we are off. Already with the leg kicks is Baghdasaryan. Baghdasaryan standing in southpaw, goes looking for a high kick. Then with a left hand to the head. He goes looking for a left kick to the body again. Left hand to the head by Baghdasaryan. Pushing Anglin back. Anglin is out of his depth here with a stand-up, I believe. Or at least it looked that way anyways. Maybe I'm wrong, Anglin. Bit of a flurry there by Baghdasaryan. Quite aggressive with his shots. When looking for a spinning back kick as well, did Baghdasaryan. Gets off the cage, off the back of the cage. Anglin's trying to push him up, clinch with him. It's smart. The longer he can clinch with him, the longer he can work on him like this, the more it's going to take some of the gas from Baghdasaryan. Nice little front kick by Anglin. Anglin's doing a good job of hanging on to Baghdasaryan, tie clinching with him, pushing his head down. Just using that situation to not let Baghdasaryan, two things, not let Baghdasaryan get his shots off, and also start to tire him and use up the lactic acid in his arms. Baghdasaryan is fast and mixes his shots very well. Nice left hand by Baghdasaryan. I'd like to see him throw that left high kick in behind that left straight that he's throwing. He's throwing the left hand lead. Now Anglin has turned him and pushed Baghdasaryan up against the cage. It's not where Baghdasaryan wants to be. That's the antithesis of his game. Throws a left body kick and that left body kick to the liver is painful if you get hit. And you really have no option but to take it on the arms or try and, if you're fast enough and you got the timing, to check it with your legs, but it's hard. Oh, that rip to the body, that hurt. Oh, that knee to the liver by Baghdasaryan. Baghdasaryan does not look like a fun guy to fight. Anglin's doing a good job of trying to hang on to him and make him work a little bit, but he's been hurt to the body now by Baghdasaryan. Again with the liver shots, with those kicks to that region by Baghdasaryan. Now they're not. Oh, nice takedown by Anglin. Good takedown. Nice double leg shot. Well done. Really good. He's working his way, trying to get that Turk ride, but Baghdasaryan did a good job of getting back to his feet. He was in high parterre. Now he's pushed Anglin up against the cage. Now this, I believe, has to still benefit Anglin whenever they're clinching, whenever they're holding, and they're not striking. It's better for Anglin that Baghdasaryan doesn't have the space and the ability to land strikes. Nice front kick down the middle by Anglin. Big knees by Baghdasaryan. I like to see him throw that left hand lead first and then a left high kick. That's what I'd like to see. That both guys exchanged. Both guys clipped each other there. I'd like to see him throw the left hand lead and then the left high kick straight after it. 1 minute and 10 seconds to go because he throws them both, but just not together. Christian Lorenz says, Rainier was a monster at judo. Man, he won. He won yesterday in the dual meet. Front kick by Anglin. Those kicks to the body. Oh, nice left hand. Another left hand by Baghdasaryan. Hammer fists. They're kind of landing on the back of the head of Anglin. Anglin is in all sorts of trouble. There's 36 seconds to go. I don't know if he's going to get out of this round, but he does a good job of holding onto Baghdasaryan and clinching. 24 seconds to go. Oh, spinning elbow attempt by Baghdasaryan. He's a mean person, mate. Nice inside leg kick by Baghdasaryan. Nice work. That's the bell. Wow. But Anglin's done a good job. He's done a good job because he's definitely lost that round. But he is working and mitigating some of Baghdasaryan's shots, by clinching with him and holding him, taking him down, making him work. Now, the longer this fight goes, the harder it's going to be for Baghdasaryan to knock him out. That's just how it is. There's like less knockouts the longer the fight goes. And I don't know if Anglin's going to be able to push this into positions where he's more comfortable, but the longer it goes, the better it is for him. Drew Doc says, how's it going, Lord Fab? Good stream as per usual. No, thank you guys for joining me, man. I really appreciate it. Wouldn't be able to do it without you guys joining us, so thank you so much. We're about to restart the second round. We're off, people. Both guys pick up where they left off. Orthodox to southpaw. Baghdasaryan in the southpaw position. But I think that I like what I'm seeing a little bit more from Anglin here. I think he's made a few adjustments. I don't know if it's going to be enough to counter the level of someone like Baghdasaryan striking like this. But he has kicked the lead leg of Baghdasaryan. He's kicked the front leg as well. I mean, he front kicked as well. He's now kicking with a kicker, which is very, very important. You have to kick with a kicker, and I'm seeing more of that now from Anglin. So he's already made a few adjustments. And this is why this is important, even for the main event when you're watching. Like, you cannot not kick with a kicker. You can't let the guy just kick the shit out of you. You don't want to have a kicking match with Uriah Hall, but you want to kick so that he has to at least lift his leg, take the kick, whatever he has to do. But he's not just kicking at will. Big left hand by Baghdasaryan. Baghdasaryan backs Anglin up with a jab. Big left hand again by Baghdasaryan. Again, nice little jab by Baghdasaryan. Nice little right hand by Anglin on the forehead of Baghdasaryan. Oh! Massive head kick. Massive head kick by Baghdasaryan. Very, very, very high level kickboxer. Big shot landed by Baghdasaryan. Very, 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 very good. Very, very, very good striker, man. M. Quet says, don't forget that like button, everybody. No, guys, please do. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thank you very much, guys. Huge left high kick. Huge one. Boom. Got him right on the neck. Boom. And it was like flush. Good job by the ref. Like, two hammer fists, and they didn't land flush, but the ref just stopped it. And that's good. That's what you want to see. You don't want to see people get hurt unnecessarily. What a fantastic job by Baghdasaryan. Wow. That was a huge high kick. Man, that, Baghdasaryan, that's a scary guy for some of the featherweights, I think. Like, looking, he's undefeated in his record other than his first fight, and he's got some really good credentials with striking, Really impressive. Really, really, really impressive. Cassandra Nadella says, Coach, who do you believe defends themselves from strikes best in MMA today? Like, who's got the best striking defense? I think there's some it depends. That's a hard one. That's a hard kind of I don't know exactly how to answer that, but are you saying who's got some of the best defense? I think there's some guys that got really good footwork. I can't just say, oh, is this guy or that guy. Because they're not there to get hit. Some of the guys that had the, like, say, when that comes to mind, although right now they're not at their peak, but guys like Cruz and Edgar had really nice tidy footwork, and so they were able to defend themselves quite well, I think, in that regard. I like Peter Yan. Peter Yan's got really good defense, and he's able to slide in and out of shots. Yeah, like there's a few guys like that come to mind. Like, if that's what you mean, I'm sorry, I don't know exactly if that's what you're asking. Elia says these are some good fights, but let's be honest, this is a pretty shit fight card. Even the main event is meh. That's like, look, what I said before. Look, the card is good, as in, like, the fights are good. But if this was on any other promotion, nobody would watch it, and that just goes to show how good the UFC is at marketing and promoting their cards, because and their brand, because This nobody would watch this. Although the fights are good, I think the fights are good. The athletes are good. I'm not bagging them. I think I'm having a great time, but you wouldn't watch it. Dizzy Thumb says, "G'day, mate. What are your thoughts on teaching a fighter to be good at both stances, orthodox and southpaw? I've been training both now for 2 years and think I should have done it a long time ago." It depends. Some people have better abilities to do that. Some people have like they're more ambidextrous than others. They get stuff quicker. They, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Some people it takes them a long time to really understand the fundamentals of the first stance. You know what I mean? So, say for example, they're learning orthodox. It takes them a long time to understand how to do stuff, how to move, what angles are that you're looking for, all of that kind of stuff. So teaching them southpaw as well is probably going to mix them up a little bit. But there's dudes that just get it. They just get it right off the bat. They're naturally very, very good at it. They're more ambidextrous than others. And so that person, yeah, I'd say teach them southpaw straight away. Gary the Goat says, Jan's high guard gets me rolled up. Explain what you mean by rolled up. Jacob McDonald says, hard to compare defenses. Footwork and offense is good defense as well. That's exactly right. A takedown pressure works as good defense, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah, that's what I was saying. Like, I wasn't sure exactly what the question, how you wanted me to answer it, but there's guys with really tidy footwork, that really impress me. That don't really get hit like that. Like, not necessarily shutting up and defending like that. There's guys that are like Anderson Silva as a counter striker made things really, really difficult for you because you knew that if you threw something at him, it's coming back. Like it could come back from any angle. So yeah. Dizzy Thumb says, "Yeah, I trained 10 years before doing it." Yeah, and I mean, you might have been able to start before it or not or whatever. I played basketball always growing up, and I played soccer as well. I come from a soccer family actually, and so, and I always did like martial arts and that. I did taekwondo ever since I was a little kid. So when I started boxing and that as a young man, like probably 16 or something, and I just dabbled with it. I'm no great boxing guru, but the switching to southpaw thing was never that hard for me because with basketball, with whatever, and soccer and everything, I'd always had to do both sides. You know what I mean? So it wasn't that crazy hard. And with taekwondo as a little kid, like yeah, I stood in orthodox stance from memory, but it wasn't that big of a thing for me to go the other way either. Um, so yeah, it just depends on the person and what their background is. Oh, Gary the Goat says, Jan's high guard turns me on. Love how shelled up he is and just throws crisp strikes. Yeah, absolutely. He does a very, very good job of that. Like he's very tight with it. But the thing with him is what you just said then is like he doesn't just cover up, he throws bombs back. Who you got, Hall or Strickland? I can't pick one of them. Cheyanne says, you from Western Sydney, Fab? Yeah, originally from Southwest Sydney. Yes, I am. I'm from the South Coast now, but originally from Southwest Sydney. Oya says, you come from a football family, sir. What's your favorite team? I don't have one, dude. I'm actually the black sheep of the family in that regard. Like my cousin was one of the coaches for Central Coast Mariners, and he played professionally. Other cousin that all of them played. Dude. They played. We've got cousins in South America. They all played. They all played decent levels too. So yeah, I don't even follow it, man. TJC says Holloway, Dillashaw, Poirier, and Wonderboy come to mind when it comes to switching stances. Who else? I think Dillashaw and Poirier. I don't put him in the same. I have Poirier. He slides through and throws punches from a switch stance, but he's very much fights out of the southpaw stance. Dillashaw's more is better at it. Holloway's better at it. Wonderboy's better at it. Wonder Boy is very seamless in how he does certain things. Um, he's very very seamless in the way that he does it. He's probably out of those guys that you mentioned, they're probably the best one that I think at switching the stances. I'll be back in a sec. Um, Christian Water says, "What's going on in the fight?" Dude got knocked out bad, bad. Um, do feral cats bother me? Do they bother me personally? No, but they're a big problem in Australia. I think I read somewhere it's like one feral cat can kill like 200 birds or something a year or something ridiculous, like a crazy number. So they are a problem, but like, do they bother me on a personal level? No, they don't. I don't really come across them. This now's Jared Gooden versus Niklas Stolze. Um, I'd come across them a little bit more, like my like friends that go hunting and that would come across them and they kill them. But yeah, it's like a big problem in Australia. Son Ahmed says, "Is that Obama on your shirt, Fab?" No, it's not. It's Marvin Gaye. Ilya says, "Cats, dogs, or goldfish?" I like dogs. Um, Christian Water says, "Who got knocked the fuck out?" Um, Anglin got knocked out. TJC says the feral cats at my work take care of the mice, so I love them where I am. I have a phobia of rats and mice and that. I really hate them. I have a bad phobia of rats, but it's like feral cats are fucking mean, dude. They're real scary. And I think when we're talking about feral cats, we're talking about like feral cats in Australia are like a big problem. Like they kill wildlife, they kill because they don't have like other apex predators either. Like they don't have anything else to prey on them, so they're mean. Pitbull or McKee already said I don't know. Um, I don't know. Hassan Ahmed says, Fab, thoughts on the most underlooked aspect of MMA? just consistent training, I think, is the most overlooked aspect. People make it so much more difficult than what it has to be, but just consistent training, hitting sessions. You don't have to go to a super team. You don't have to do anything amazing. You just have to hit your sessions. You know what I mean? Now, granted, if you live in, I don't know, some tiny island in the Pacific, yeah, you may have to go. You may have to move to a bigger city, but um, you don't have to. You know what I mean? You don't have to. As a matter of fact, most of the champions don't come from big gyms. So it's more about. And I'm not saying it's wrong or bad for you to go to a big gym. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying to you, like, the most overlooked aspect of MMA to me is like, just do your consistent training, because people want to. They want to have. It's like almost have you want to have an excuse to fail. It's like, oh no, we can't get enough partners, and that's why. And blah blah blah. No, you can. If you live in a big city, you'll have partners. You know what I mean? You'll have plenty of partners. You'll have plenty of people to train with, and all of that. If that's the most overlooked thing, I think. It's like sitting down and saying, I can't. I can't study. Like, if you haven't, if you like had a normal upbringing, whatever. Like, you don't have to go to the best university in the world for you to do really well and get good marks. You can go to a good university and get your law degree there. You know what I mean? It's not yeah, like, that's, I think, the most overlooked. As per usual, I heard on the Joe Rogan podcast that feral and house cats kill somewhere near 1 billion small critters a year. Wild shit, but it's a Joe Rogan podcast, so everyone do your own research. Laugh out loud. Worldwide, I wouldn't be surprised, dude, because it is something like that in Australia. It's like one cat will kill. Let me Google that for you, mate. Um, I read this. I read it before, so it's interesting. And where I used to live was feral cats were more of a problem. Yes, the study found each feral cat kills an average of 576 native birds, mammals, and reptiles per year, while pet cats kill an average of 110 native animals every year, 40 reptiles, 38 birds, and 32 mammals. So yeah, they are motherfuckers, mate. It's not yeah, you can't have them inside like that. Christian Water says, coming from the slums, basically be who you are, remember where you're from. Nico Dedia says, damn, Bellator is free on YouTube. Yes, sir. We're about to start. Drew Doc says, how you doing, Hassan? Remember you from the BKB page versus Rachel's stream. Hassan, mate, is a moderator on here, man. Nico Dedios says, I have to wait for matches to finish in the UFC to be able to watch. So they'll be on YouTube. Drew Doc says, yeah, same, my man. Oh, okay, cool. That's a conversation between you guys. JLA says, Fabs, the Southwest Cats still hang out at Macca's. Yeah, they hang out at Macca's, but like, if you live out even a little bit more rural, like I used to live, if anyone knows, like Hoxton Park, when it was still like not built up, and they were a problem, man, for the farms and that out there. All right, we're about to kick off, people. We're about to kick off, and we're off. Ooh, spinning back kick right off the bat by Stolze. Gooden's trying to come forward a little bit. Big leg kick by Gooden. Oh, Stolze throws a big right hand. Stolze moves quite well. Oh, left hook by Gooden. Gooden's coming forward on Stolze and shoots a big double leg, does Gooden. Stolze goes looking for the guillotine. He hasn't got it. He hasn't got it. He's got his arm wrapped around the throat, but he hasn't got it. Gooden looks like he is a super powerful guy. Stolze a purple belt in jiu-jitsu. Stolze looks pretty powerful himself. Gooden just, man, he looks like a comic book hero. Stolze checks a kick of Gooden and then lands one himself. But Stolze is not unathletic himself. Oh, shit! What a shot! Boy, so fucking hell. Gooden hit him so fucking hard. Oh, my God. My God. Gooden hit him so hard. Jesus. He just caught him with the right hand. Boom. Caught him with the right hand, and Stolze looked like he just kind of woke up. You know what I mean? Like, he fell, and then he was like just getting up, like he just woke up from a bad dream. Man, bodybuilding.news says, what's a bigger issue, emus or feral cats? I imagine feral cats would be worse. Juice says the cats here prefer eating lizards than cat food. Here up. You want to come with Daddy? And Gary the Goat says, Fab, thank you for what you do. You, sir, are a champion, and we appreciate your insight. Our only request part of this donation goes towards a treat for baby Chino. And here she is, people. Here she is. Say hello. Say hello. Hello. Say hello. Thank you. Say hello.
Hello.
Say, love you.
Love you.
Yeah, so Jay, before, like, I'm talking about before it being like before it was all built up and everything, it was like bushland, you know what I mean? And that was yeah, the cats were a problem then for the farmers and whatnot. I've moved out of there but a while ago now. Yeah, that was huge, man. Drew Doc says, Fab, thanks for providing your expertise, insight to all of us free of charge. What a good guy. Thank you, sir. And I appreciate you guys watching, man. Thank you, guys. Thank you very much. She is very cute. She's got a big bruise on her head here. My wife was vacuuming the other day, and my wife went back like that, connected right on her head. Massive bruise. Okay, I'll be back in a sec. Baby China is a champion. Yeah, she is. She's a funny one. My daughter Drew Doc says, "Oh, your daughter's so cute." Yeah, she is, man. She is very, very cute. Alex Collar says, "What's good, Hassan?" Elia says, "Will you try and teach baby Chino Spanish?" She understands Spanish already. Like if I talk to her in Spanish, she like yeah, she I just speak to her in Spanish because her grandparents on my side they speak to her in Spanish. So yeah, she understands Spanish. If I say to her, "Go and do this" or "Come and do that," yeah, she'll speak in Spanish. She gets it 100%. Christian Water says, "Your dad's a legend. Oh, cute. Love, brother. Loved your reaction to the hit." Thank you, sir. Thank you. Christian Lorenz says, "Where is Marshall Smartest, Fab?" I don't know. I was expecting to see him. M. Quet says, "There's a little terrorist. Adorable. She is, man. She's a little sleep terrorist." Dude, that shot was so big. And you know what the problem is? Like, I don't think Stoltz a bad fighter. I don't think there was that much between them skill wise, but Gooden looks like a weight division above. He looks a weight division above. It would have been interesting though if that fight got taken further into like the second or third rounds. You know what I mean? How he would look, I don't know. Yeah, I know what you mean. Cecil Park still has farms. My neighbor shoots dingoes from the porch. Fucking hell. Um, Christian Lorenz says if Baby Chino learns Spanish and Mandarin as well, that will be amazing. The Mandarin is a little bit harder because, like, especially now, man, it's been like 2 years since we've been able to have proper contact with both sides of the family. Like, my mum and dad live reasonably close, so the Spanish is still there. We all like cartoons that she watches, like Peppa Pig and stuff like that. She watches in Chinese, she watches in Mandarin, and I think she gets stuff when my wife says it, but she doesn't know she doesn't know how to say stuff in that in Mandarin. Mandarin's a little bit harder, so we've got plans for that one in with the Mandarin. Um, JLA says, I mean fox, yeah. Foxes are a big problem there, man. Foxes are a real big problem out that way as well. So yeah, there'd be plenty of foxes to shoot. Joe Forbes out of nowhere, my surfing and life coach. I don't. I find it interesting to see just the next fight, like the not the next fight on this card, like next week's card. I think there's some really interesting matchups there. I'm pretty pumped to see him. Now we got Cheyanne Byers versus Gloria de Paula, and I then we got the main event, which I'm really looking forward to it. Drew Doc says predicting a Hall KO tonight by Savagery. He'll be hungry after that silver fight. Elia says, "Will you learn Mandarin, Uncle Fab?" Honestly, I would like to. I would like to. I um kind of busy with a whole bunch of other shit at the moment, to be honest with you. But at some point, we will be looking at spending some time overseas. Um, Probably not right now, like when both my girls are a little bit older. If we have any more kids, once that's all kind of done and the kids are a little bit older, maybe 7 and 5 or 8 and 6 or something like that, we'll probably look at spending 6 months to a year overseas where they can learn to speak Mandarin. They can interact with kids. That's the plan, anyways. What actually happens, who knows? And then as much as I can learn, that would be good. Henry says Stolze is the buddy of one of my good friends. Sucks to see him go down like that. Sorry, man. I'm sorry that he went down. And it's real shit when you see somebody get knocked out. That's your friend. So my condolences, man. Hassan Ahmed says, "Come to Birmingham, Fab. I have a puffer jacket, a cup of tea, and a shank ready for you, mate." As long as you got the shank and the cup of tea, mate, because otherwise I'll look like a fool with a puffer jacket and no shank or cup of tea. So yes, I will go to Birmingham one day. TJC says, "Have you ever worked with a high level female MMA fighter? If so, is it a different approach or basically the same?" I'm I have, and I've worked with female athletes, and I don't know. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if the approach is different because I approach it different or because the situation inherently calls for it to be different. Um, but I think it is different a lot of the times, and people make it out like it's not going to be. But I think it's different just from the fact of who I am and who they are is already different. Um, yeah, like because I'm not like I'm a guy. You know what I mean? I'm an older guy, so that's already different. You know what I mean? Like it's I'm not a girl. You know what I mean? And so I think if you were a female coach, MMA coach, and you had guys, I think there would be a difference. And yeah, and I can't give you a bucket like a blanket answer. I can't say, oh, you're more emotional because some guys are super emotional, dude, and some girls aren't. Some girls are fucking like the emotionless. I think it's just there's a difference in the fact, like we've all been schooled a certain way for the most part. You there's already that social construct behind it. So I think that yeah, there is a difference, I think. Um, okay, so let's see. Hassan Ahmed says Megan Anderson spoke on this. She said she had a lot of other female fighters get emotional sometimes during training and cry sometimes. Yeah, that happens, but men get emotional too. You know what I mean? It's just that um like that's the blanket statements that I was exactly talking about. Like men might not cry at training, but I've seen guys cry at training. I've seen guys cry at training fucking a fair bit. Um and even if they don't cry, it doesn't mean that some people aren't feeling emotion, you know? So I think that that's why I was saying I want to be away from those blanket statements because people internalize feelings differently, you know? That doesn't mean that they're not feeling it. So I think, yeah, there is a difference though. Cassandra Nadala says Uriah, in my opinion, has dynamism to his game that not too many possess. Agreed. But Strickland makes it ugly, man, walking you down with punches that don't look hard but beat you up. Going to be a good one. 100%. You're spot on, Cassandra. Christian Lorenz says, Aussie woman champion would be quite special or Kiwi. Massive accomplishment. I think that can be done. I think that can be done. I think that can be done. So we're up to the co-main event. Man, the time just flies. Hassan says, Fab, did you hear about the Darren Till drama? No, I did not. What happened? Elia says, unless it's Valentina, Amanda, Rose, Joanna, or Whaley, I can't watch it. Women's fights are the worst. That's my opinion, at least. There's still too big of a skill difference. Elia, I think in general, yeah, the women's divisions are a little bit top heavy. You know what I mean? Not a little bit. They're quite top heavy. You know, um, there's a disparity between the number three, say the top three, and the number 10, which is huge, which you don't really see in men's MMA other than maybe heavyweights. You know what I mean? Yeah. Christian Lorenz says, let's see if this fight can win you over, mate. It's not that I think, but in fairness, I don't think what you're saying is that women can't fight. I think it's just that there's a skill gap, and I think that skill gap existed in the men's divisions 20 years ago. You know what I mean? Like it still existed. It existed in world basketball up until maybe 10 years ago. You know, I'll be back. I think my daughter's fallen down the stairs or something. Okay, we are back. um, you'll tell me on DMS, Fab. Drew Doc says Till Slag trains people in an Instagram post, then doubled down. Okay, Hassan. No, I didn't know about it. Jacob says, I hope Strickland forces Hall to be aggressive and explode. Jacob says, I don't want to see a gun-shy Hall. I hope he gets put in a position where he has to be on the offensive. Well, that doesn't happen from him getting put in the position. That happens from when he's able to do that, when he's able to dictate the space and time of the fight. If he's not the one doing that, then you have more chance of seeing a punch, like a Hall that's more shy. Okay. Christian Lorenz says, please have baby Chino as color. I would, but she's not into it today. She's doing other things today. I think she's coloring in with her mum and, being a nuisance somewhere. TJC says the women will get better, but Elia is right about the gap from top to bottom. But for now, we should be proud as fans of top women, at least for me, I must watch fights. Yeah, I think ignoring the fact that that's like saying, I don't know, fucking German basketball is at exactly the level that it should be, is at NBA level. It's not. It's good. They've improved. They shocked me the other day. I was watching them for 3 quarters. They went head to head with Australia. Australia's basketball is improved. Is it NBA level? It's not. Is there room for improvement? There is. You know what I mean? To ignore that, you're out of your fucking mind. To say, no, women's MMA is at the same level as men, it's not. But that doesn't mean that it's not going to improve, etc. And that I'm watching here now and saying, commentating this fight. It's not like I turn it off. So we've got the Paula in the white. Both girls are in the orthodox stance. And we have Byers in the black. Oh, both girls exchanging in the phone booth. Just swinging for the fences. And Byers gets the takedown on DePaula, and DePaula goes to work here. She's nice use of the guard there. She looked like she was trying to sink the foot into the far hip to take the back. Very interesting from DePaula. One thing it's interesting when you do watch women's jiu-jitsu and wrestling, the way that their bodies are structured is different to men's. So they have greater flexibility and more dexterity. Oh, shit, that was a big shot. That was a big shot. Oh, my God. Stop the fucking fight, man. Stop the fight, ref. She's dead. Stop it. My God. Oh, come here. No, don't be scared. She was scared, my daughter. Mwah. Don't be scared, baby. It was just a big shot that daddy saw. My dog's in here too now. Oh, my God. That was such a big shot. She kicked her flush in the face as she was getting up. My God. Why am I Dan Hardy there, Hassan? So she kicks off here and she goes to stand up. Oh, and she got kicked as straight away she gets up. She walked off KO'd. The ref said keep her going. Why would the fuck would you say keep her going? Then the ref has got his head turned looking at the judges or whatever he was looking at. And I mean, I'm not criticizing him because this is happening in slow motion and it looks like, it looks super quick. And she's out, dude. Yeah. She was out. She was out with a head kick, dude. You could have just called it there and then. Now, the question is, did she have a hand on the ground? I don't know if she had a hand on the ground. Oh, what a shot. Oh, Drew Doc says, Dan, stop the fight, Hardy. Johnson Street says, the ref was looking at the timekeeper to say that he didn't stop the fight, I bet. Oh, yeah, I remember that thing that happened with Dan Hardy. Yes, you're right. Yeah, no, and honestly, like, it isn't really fair to do that to the refs, in my opinion. And that's why even when people shit on the judges, like, I don't agree with everything the judges do. Don't get me wrong, dude. There's heaps of fights where I'm like, dude, I don't think we're watching the same fight. But these are tough fucking jobs, man. And whilst it looks quick, it looks so quick that it's all good. Yeah, you should have stopped the fight. But if he stops that fight too early, he fucks up that other girl's career, But my God, dude, what a shot. TJC says, hell of a card. This is what I watch every time. No, that's what I mean. That I think the card can potentially be great, and it was great, but you wouldn't watch it if it was on any other promotion, and the UFC does a fantastic job of promoting. I scared my daughter so bad. She came into the room and looked at me and said, Mummy, she want to go with her mum because she didn't know. No, you can't touch this one. You can't touch this one. She's got a big bruise on her head here where she got hit by my wife. My wife was vacuuming. My wife went back, boom, with her elbow. Lucas Rivers says, how's the card, boys? No, the card is really, really good. The card's really, really good. Crazy fight. Buys landed that shot so flush, dude. That kick. My God. The quick card's a good card, though. Herbs, Drew Doc says, Herbs fucked it a lot recently. Have to say I'm on Team Dan for sure. Yeah, man. But you know, one thing I'm not down for is people jumping in and yelling out shit like that to the refs. It's already a hard enough job. I mean, the good way to fix it is if you think you can do a better job, you should ref. You know what I mean? Like this, like jumping in like that. I don't agree with that. You know what I mean? I really don't. And yeah, they're gonna fuck it up, dude. I'm telling you, I wouldn't do that job for all the money in the world, no matter what. Like, it's a shit job. It's a shit job. Try and ref like a basketball game, a kid's basketball game. Like, well, not a kid's one, but like a high school basketball game is something that's got stuff on the line. And you're going to see like you got to call the travel right there and then. And if you don't call it right there and then, you're done. So you can't look at it and go, was that a travel? It was a travel. Josh, was that a travel? Yeah, it was, mate. Okay, travel. No. It's got to be travel. That's when it happened. And you're talking about basketball, let alone a combat sport like this. You know, it's hard. I don't agree with you jumping into the cage or whatever it was like that and saying shit to the ref. Christian Lorenz says, Fab, this card has been fucking wild. Amazing card. Yeah, man, it's crazy. It's crazy. Like, on the flip side of that, I don't have people jumping in here going, like, you know what I mean? Going, you're doing, and my job's nothing that I'm doing. Like, I'm just having fun with you guys. The ref, man, it's a hard job, man. It's a fucking hard job. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I grew up playing basketball and, you know, rugby league and that, and soccer and all of that. And the people that refed also were a special breed. You know what I mean? Like the young guys that didn't play the sport, but they refed. Like, I used to always look at them and think like I refed as well. I played basketball, and I refed. I did both because I'd get some pocket money, you know, some thing. But there were guys that didn't play and they just refed, and I was always wondered why they did that. I always wondered why they did that. Drew Doc says reffing is hard, isn't good enough for me when lives are on the line. Man, the thing is that you have to get a good understanding of what that guy's expected to do, because maybe that's too much for one person to do. You know what I mean? So just shitting on the dude is not really going to help it, not really going to fix it. I don't think they're going out of their way to not do a good job. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying to you. It's not like fuck, dude. There are some shit calls and there are some refs that do the wrong thing. And I fully agree with it. Like, man, I coach fighters. I've had and I will have bad calls against me, you know, where my guys have stopped fights where I'm like, dude, what are you doing? Why would you stop that fight? One of my guys, and the ref's a well-known ref, I'm not going to put him out there, but one of my guys was fighting in a organization where it was fuck, two of them, same guy, same ref, called the fight so early. One of my guys was winning two rounds, right? It was a 3-round fight. He was winning. It was the end of the second round. This guy was on top of the other guy, beating him into oblivion, you know. And my guy was on top. He'd won both rounds. The first one maybe a 10-8. The next one was a 10-9. and my guy had a cut on the bridge of his nose, and he was bleeding onto the other dude, and the ref stopped the fight and called it and gave it to the other dude. So trust me, dude. Like I know there are shit refs, I know there are shit calls, but at the end of the day, like it's still a fucking hard position, man. Hard position for you to be in. There are guys that shouldn't be reffing. That's what I was saying before. There are guys that I'd look at them and be like, I don't think you should be reffing, you know. And I believe that. I do believe that. But still, you know what I mean. I don't think that jumping in and saying shit to him is going to really fix it. Pip Dennison says, Hola, jefe, good arbor. Oh, sorry I'm late. Surf was small but fun. What did I miss? Good card, man. Good night of fights. Jacob says, ref also didn't have the right point of view to see where the kick landed. She was still getting up, so I can see the ref giving her the benefit of the doubt. That's exactly right. Like you're watching it also from TV. You do have some hindsight. Even if it's a split second, you have hindsight and you have different angles that you're seeing. So whilst I'm sitting here going, stop the fight, stop the fight, stop the fight, is because I can see what happened from a different angle. He had to make a different call. He was looking, he saw that. Like I can sit here and go, yeah, he should have. I could see it. Why couldn't he? Man, he was looking one way, reffing that, make sure she's okay, turned to them, said something to them, and the girl had mounted her and hit her. It's fucking hard, man. It's hard. Gary the Goat says, I reffed soccer when I was 13 and it sucked. Lots of upset parents every weekend, no matter what happened. Dude, fucking good on you for doing that. I would not do that. I would not. I would rather ref this than that. Drew Doc says, yeah, I know. I just get so angry when bad calls happen. Be personal for me. I understand, dude. Trust me, dude. There's been situations where I'm like, dude, are you fucking kidding me? Judges, refs, or whatever. And I'm like, dude, were we watching the same fight? Are you serious? You know? But at the end of the day, it is a tough job, you know. And I'm not saying you have to be happy when it goes against you because you can't be happy. I've had guys that I'm just like, fuck, man, what the like how'd you make that call? You know, but it's a difficult one, man. And it's easy for everyone else, commentators and that, to sit there and just shit on the ref. And I just see that as like you're not really solving anything by doing that. Yeah. TJC says, thank you very much, sir. I really appreciate it. As always, thank you for what you do, Fab. Hoping for only good things for your family. Same for everyone in the chat. Likewise, guys, I thank all of you, each and every one of you, and I hope everyone stays safe, man. And I thank everyone, including the trolls, because we don't have many trolls. But if you're trolling, you're watching, so I appreciate it. Lucas Rivers says, did a guy jump in the cage or was there a bad stoppage before? Not today. They were talking about Dan Hardy a while back. Christian Lorenz says, TJC, you are legendary, mate. You are, sir, and I really appreciate it, man. It helps a lot. I really do. Johnson Street says, on your TJC, have a good day, mate. Appreciate it. Jacob says, sideline refs that can call for the fight to be stopped might be a good measure. Absolutely. There's a lot of different things that you could call, you know what I mean? I think. But even that's hard, dude, because what happens, and I don't disagree with you. I'm saying that you know that could be something we can add. But what ends up happening is sometimes I'm watching him from here and I think that that's it. That's a wrap. And the guy survives. So it's just a hard job. And you think about what you're refereeing, you know what I mean? You're refereeing outliers, you know. There's many a fight that I've been a part of that I thought it's over, you know what I mean? I'm not going to lie to you. Like Romero and Rob 2, I thought that fight was going to get stopped probably 4 or 5 different times. You know what I mean? Yeah, I really thought it was going to get stopped a bunch of times. Like, and from what I could see as well, like this is what people don't understand. In the first and second rounds, I thought they were going to stop the fight. Rob, like I could see that Romero's face was broken. I don't know how fucking tough Romero is. I have no idea how tough that guy is. His face was broken. You could see it. And and when you're watching it from like real close, a couple of meters away, Rob would punch him, he'd land the jab, and Romero's face would go like that, and the eyes would just swell up, you know. And I don't know how they didn't stop that fight in between the rounds, because when you're live and you were there, it looked bad. You know now in hindsight that went 5 rounds and it was one of the most gruesome fights you've ever thought. And Romero came close to stopping Rob. You know that now. But in that fight, honestly, when the third round was about to start, like after the second round, I thought they are negligent for letting this fight keep going. I honestly thought that. Like Romero didn't land anything those first 2 rounds. I honestly thought this is negligent letting this fight keep going, you know? Um, but that's all I'm saying to you. Like, and then Romero's just made of rocks and hard stuff, dude. Like, and he just came back and made that, like I said, one of the most gruesome fights I've ever been a part of. Sorry, I'm gonna sorry, Gigi says at Jacob like the fighter's corner. What do you mean by that? Christian Loren says the rats and stoats have almost wiped out the kiwi and birds and caused buggery upon all animals in New Zealand. Dude, fucking rats are disgusting. I fucking hate them. Gary the Goat says, Fab, have you checked the analytics lately? Are we still at 2% or trending downward? You mean 2% of the people? Nah. We are much higher now. We don't have, like, probably, honestly, less than 1% of people that watch this are knobs. Most people that watch this are pretty spot on. Drew Doc says, cheers, TJC. Michael Wood says, man, the Bellator fight right now is interesting. Guys, Gogo Plating versus Khabib's student smash. You know something else? I don't know why they do these at the same time. Like you'd think you'd want to do it so that it's not at the same time. Nico Dedios says just like Askren and Lawler, thought it should have been stopped when Lawler dropped him, dude. Of course you know what I mean. Like of course, like that should have been stopped. You know what I mean by normal standards that should have been dropped. And that's where, like, okay, and what happens there? The ref stops that, and Askren's like, "What are you doing?" Like, and Askren went on and won that. And again, he won it in controversial fashion, but he won it. You know, that's it. And so it's such a tough job, and people only want to look at the fuck ups of the refs that they do. You know, they don't understand. Like, dude, look at Edgar and Maynard, dude. That fight should have been stopped, but it wasn't stopped, and then dude came back and won. So how do you it's tough, man. It's really, really, really tough. And that's what I meant by it's a hard thing, not like, oh, it's hard and it doesn't matter. I'm saying like this is real. Look at like how the fights go. Joseph says, I remember that fight like it was yesterday. Romero ate the mother of all head kicks. That head kick he ate was in the third round. And again, that fight, I thought they were going to stop it when Romero copped that head kick. That was in the third round after Romero had rocked Rob, you know? And so you look at it and you just think, like, wow, you know? Fuck, Chris's leg was bad, man. I just saw that replay of it. It was so fucking bad to break. Oh my God. Cassandra Nodella says, Coach, I'm jealous of you. My boyfriend always talks about you. Ever since you guys did an interview for school, he only refers to you as the GOAT. Your boyfriend's the best. Your boyfriend's the best. Don't be jealous of me. You and he have a very special relationship that I could only ever hope to mirror. Gary the Goat says, even if Romero is on steroids, his physique is insane. I don't envy Rob's 50 minutes of alone time with him. I don't even want to start down that slippery slope of talking about that with the drugs and everything. But yeah, Michael Wood says that USADA doc that came out confirmed Romero tested positive for an experiment bone hardener. Yeah, again, I'm not going to go all the way into that because you know some things are just a bit silly for me. Yeah. Gigi says my friend has pet rats that she has trained to take money from people's purses. That's crazy. It's honestly, no offense to your friend, but I'm just going to throw this out there. I don't understand why people keep pet rats or mice or even rabbits. Like these things are pests. These are rodents that are pests, and we have too many of them on the planet. Not so much that we want to domesticate them. I don't understand it. I'm open to having my mind changed. I'm open to suggestion. I just don't understand it. That doesn't mean I think it's wrong I just don't understand it. Romero has done wrestling since he was very young. He has competed in middleweight for almost his entire professional career. He is an absolute monster. He is an absolute monster. And that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to get into like the drugs and the blah, 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 blah. Stainless Stove says, you just said you hate rats, Fab. You should watch a documentary called Rats 2016. It's scary how fast rats have evolved in the last 100 years size. Have they gotten bigger or have they gotten smaller? But I know that it would be, it doesn't surprise me, dude, because they just survive and they just flourish, they're just disgusting. These fucking rats around here, man, big fuck off water rats, big water rats from the swamps and from the creeks nearby. And they're big and fucking scary rats, man. We're lucky they don't come into our house. They go into the people's houses and they don't come into our house. We've got a big ass dog. But I went out the other day. I got a phobia, like a proper phobia. I went out the other day, and one of the big fucking rats ran over my foot, dude. And I ran inside and sat on my bed. My wife just laughed at me. But yeah, they're crazy, man. They're disgusting. Christian Lorenz says, if Rob eventually fights Gallen, should we have Shane Warne as ref? Yeah, Shane Warne's a good one. Shane Warne would be a good one to have as a ref. Cassandra Nadella says, you made him blush when I told him. Laugh out loud. Cheers, Fab. You are lovely. Thank you. Thank you very much. Nico Dedio says, they are disgusting. Lucas Rivers says, same things with feral cats. Yeah. Sage1223 says, I have 4 pet mice, very clean animals. I don't doubt that they're very clean. I don't doubt. My friend even had a pet rat. Well, one of my best friends growing up, he had a big ass pet rat. I just don't understand why you have them as pets. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying you're wrong to have them as pets. I just don't understand why. But if you can tell me why you have them, I'd appreciate it because it might help broaden my perspective. TJC says the friggin' rats in New York haven't gotten bigger. They're always huge here. They're just getting clever as hell. Can you define how they're getting clever? Just so I know. And also, that's one of the things I don't like about New York. I've only been to New York once, but I'm scared of the fucking rats in New York, man. That's one thing. But then we got crazy ass rats here. We got rats in Sydney. I've been to India, and the rats there were a different breed. South America, big ass, mean, fucking horrible rats. Ugh. And I think there's rabies over there too. You know what I mean? We don't have rabies in Australia, but fucking scary. Sage says, I have them because my ex made me buy them for her. Then she left me with them. Oh, okay. Well, that's a different story. Why did she want pet mice? Gigi says, pet rats are domesticated. They can't survive in the wild because they're too easy for predators. They're genuinely like mini dogs, personality-wise, with less time commitment. I see. Okay. Is a water rat like a muskrat? I would Google that. Can somebody Google that? But I would Google that, but I don't want to see the fucking face. If I see the face, I get all, like I hate it. All I know is a pet water rats are the rats that live in water. Their feet are fucking webbed. They fucking got big teeth and they're fucking disgusting. Ugh, I don't even want to talk about it, man. It makes me sick. Ugh, mate, it's disgusting. Uriah Hall's walking out now. Wild rats trick other lower ranked rats into testing traps so they can see how they work and avoid them. They showed that in the documentary mentioned by someone. I respect it. Laugh out loud. I can't watch it. Gary the Goat says, kind of crazy how recent Strickland's injury was, given how severe it was. He's been good since, but it blows my mind. It's crazy. Crazy. Stainless Stove says, the rats have evolved a lot in the last 100 years because the abundance of food and rats. The more food available, the larger they grow. Like crocodiles die from starvation more often than not. Johnson Street says, who do we like for this fight, boys? I'm going with Sean Strickland. Yeah, it's just a clash of styles, man. It's just going to be who can impose their style the best. It's going to be who wins, I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know. I've spoken about it, broken the fight down a bunch of times, but I can't give you a pick. I'll be back 1 second, guys. Okay, so people are going with Strickland. Yeah, Strickland's a good bet. I'm not saying, look, he's younger too. That's a big thing, you know. Uriah Hall has longer reach. I don't know that he does, in fact, have much longer reach than Strickland, because Strickland looks like he has long arms himself, and a lot of that's they measure that as wingspan, right? So Uriah Hall may well be the broader fighter. So that's going to be interesting as well. The age is a factor, no matter what anyone wants to say. It's just how long Uriah Hall can keep his peak, you know. Strickland, okay. Stainless Stove says feral mice and rats are completely different. I agree with that. I don't doubt it. Nico did this. Who wins in MMA, a heavyweight boxer or a Muay Thai fighter? I think it just depends. Like the Muay Thai fighter's got the kicking advantage, obviously, but man, boxers that can punch, like it can punch hard, it can punch straight, can do some real serious damage. But one or two good leg kicks on someone that can't take leg kicks, again, matters. You know what I mean? That really, really matters. It just depends on who the boxer is, though. Jacob says, animals learning to better live with people. The birds here in Sydney are getting better at taking advantage of our mess. That's true. Same as foxes. There was a study done on foxes, you know, that they're usually solitary animals, but now they've been urbanized. They've become more pack animals. And you see that here in Sydney and in Melbourne and that. I've seen it, where they'll gather and hunt in packs. They're not hunting because there's such an abundance of food. JC says, laugh at my ass off. Let's watch this fight and then just keep talking about rats and feral cats for a few hours. We'll turn Fab into the new Rogan. Well, I'd just like some more subscribers. That would be cute. Chuck Les says, I'm feeling another head kick finish. It could be, man. Could well be. Gary the Goat says, fighting on your birthday seems like a slippery slope, but let's go Hall. Johnson Street says, Gary the Goat, it's Uriah Hall's birthday. And Gary the Goat says, yes, he turns 37 today. Johnson Street says, okay, I'm switching my pick. Got to go with the birthday boy. People, we are about to kick off right now. But don't blink. I do think this can be a very, very fast fight. We're off. Both guys in the orthodox stance. Strickland already into a almost shoulder roll stance. Nice little jab. Goes swinging for the right hand. Look for Hall to spin with it. This is a good stance for Hall to spin with. And as he starts to edge himself out to into the center of the octagon where he has more space, that's where you can look for him to spin. But Sean's pretty savvy to it because you can tell he's already slipping towards Uriah Hall's right to avoid that spin, because I don't think he's worried about Uriah Hall's hands, which, I mean, not that worried. I think he's more worried about the unpredictable. I think, you know, Hall hits hard as well. So these are the exchanges here. Oh, nice exchange. Both these guys in that pocket. And it intrigues me, see, already, for whatever reason, Hall hasn't kicked. For whatever the reason. Which you'd think he would have kicked. Like, this is now fighting Strickland's game, which, I mean, Hall may be very good at it too. Hall with the jab to the body. Pouring jab by big right hand over the top by Strickland. Strickland goes looking for that right hand again. It's a couple of times now he's looked for it. He hasn't found a home for it yet. Both guys exchanging jabs. This looks like old school Jack Broughton rules boxing back in the day, before the Marks of Queensbury rules. They both exchange jabs. They're both landing their jabs too. I don't know why. Yes, there's the kick from Hall. I was just about to say it again. I don't know why Hall hasn't kicked, but that was a nice calf kick by Hall. But see, in this range, Strickland can do this all night. These exchanges. He connects. Hall connects with a big right hand on Strickland. Strickland's got a chin on him. Strickland keeps coming forward. But this is how Sean wants to fight. Big right hand now by Strickland. Strickland goes looking for a right hand and hits him with a little left hand again. They're both exchanging. Hall hits him with a left hand. Like old school boxers, man. And then we can have those, we could have the dogs catching the rats right in the octagon straight after it. Nice little jab by Sean. Jab by Uriah. Again, I'd like to see Uriah do some more kicks. I don't know why he's not throwing any kicks. 2 minutes to go. I can't really split this round thus far. Uriah's bouncing. Oh, right hand by Uriah. Nice right hand by Uriah. Nice right hand. Nice little jab by Strickland. Another jab and a 1-2 by Strickland. That's the rhythm you don't want Sean getting into. They're both exchanging jabs here. Uriah moves, dips and weaves his way out of there, ducks and dips and weaves his head, getting out of the way of Sean's punches. Sean backing him up slowly. Another nice little jab by Sean. Uriah's fighting like Sean. That's what's funny. Like he's even pulling his head back and everything. Sean punches over the top with that right hand. Oh, then Sean goes looking for a high kick. Sean hasn't got bad kicks too, by the way. Nice inside kick by Uriah. There's 35 seconds to go. When Uriah throws that left lead kick, see that left lead kick on the inside? When he throws that inside left kick, he's getting ready to spin. He throws that to measure and then he spins. He's got the measurement of the person. But Sean's not letting him because he's taking up his space and jabbing him. There's 7 seconds to go. 2, 1, time. I don't know who won that round. I don't know who won. I have no idea who won that round. It was a very close round. And again, depending on how this fight goes, if it goes to judges or whatever, remember, there's rounds like this that I don't know who wins. I can't tell you who wins. So, yeah. And sometimes what happens is you might win the last 2, but you lost the first 3. You know, I don't know. Johnson Street says, crazy. It's like there's a gentleman's agreement for no leg kicks. Yeah, I don't know why Uriah's not kicking. Yeah, very, very small amount of kicks from both of them. And Sean threw the first head kick. Sean's not sitting on the stool. He's not talking to anyone. He's just pacing and just looking Uriah down. Bouncing up and down in anticipation is Sean. Uriah's up. Okay, they're off. They touch gloves. They're in the center. And more of the same at this point. Nice jab by Uriah Hall. Uriah Hall now takes up some of that real estate. And I'd like to see some leg kicks from Sean too. The way that Uriah is coming in like this in basically in a boxing stance himself, and his boxing stance is not the best, Uriah's, because it's like narrow and wide, not as wide as Chandler's, but it's narrower than you'd want necessarily in a boxing match. So it leaves him susceptible to the leg kicks. But this kind of fight, like this pace and this kind of fight, this is Sean's fight. I have no idea who Sean landed a few more shots, but it's like pretty. And now he's starting to land a little left hook. Oh, he goes looking for a flying knee, does Uriah, and Sean's got him up against the cage and he's throwing punches and he looked for a takedown. Nice work by Sean. This is what Sean wants. And he needs to keep Uriah here. Take away the time in the middle of the octagon. This is where he wants it, like this here. And Uriah can't move his head back. Nice little elbow by Sean. Very, very smart work by Sean. another dude who's like a actual born fighter as well, is in Sean. You can see it in him. Now Sean's looking for always trying to get the better head position here in Uriah. Uriah's not doing a great job of getting himself off the cage. And it's one of those things where he wasn't able to impose himself the way that he wants to necessarily early on. And I think that makes it really difficult for him, like when he can't get the timing and gauge the timing of the other fighter. And I do think that after this round, it will start to become easier for Sean to run away with this fight if Uriah can't land one of his magic shots, which he always can at any stage. So no way am I writing Uriah Hall off. I'm just saying that Sean's doing everything he needs to be doing. Nice. Pouring at the jabs is Sean. He's a very, very composed fighter, Sean, as well. Very composed. Very experienced, man. Like he's got names on his belt as well. Uriah going to southpaw for a second there. Back to southpaw is Uriah Hall. Nice kick by Uriah, but Sean checked it. I really like the way Sean fights. He's very measured. He's like the third Diaz brother. With his boxing and that. He's very measured. He knows what he's doing. He hits you, doesn't load up, but they hurt and they sting, and he just keeps coming, just keeps coming and keeps coming and keeps coming. Oh, Uriah dipped and Sean threw that kick at the same time. So he's watching Uriah dip and he's throwing that high kick when Uriah dips. Uriah jab to the body. Both guys exchanging jabs, exchanging punches. Uriah with a 1-2 that misses. Sean lands a nice little jab, nice neat little jab. Inside kick by Uriah from the southpaw stance. Oh, he got hit low, did Uriah. Nick Dedios says, do you think the UFC should judge by the entirety of the fight, not by rounds? I think you can, but I think that is harder to do when there's rounds, because if it was one long fight, or at least the first couple of rounds like Pride used to have is longer, then you get a better gauge because you can get saved by the bell. And realistically, if you got saved by the bell, there wouldn't be a second, third, fourth, and fifth round. That's the truth of the matter, Sometimes, like Nate Diaz, for example, when people talk about, if there was 6 rounds, nobody would be able to beat him. But if there was no stoppages as well, I don't know. I'm not saying that he wouldn't. Maybe it'd help him even more. But if there was no stoppages for them to work on the cuts and to get him ready for the next round, you don't know what the fight would look like that. So I think you can't just change one thing. You have to change a few things. Sorry, guys, I'm going back to this. So they're jabbing each other to death. There's 19 seconds to go. Sean lands some good jabs there. Nice little leg kick landed by Sean. Then he hit Uriah low again, I think, with a front kick, or came close to it. Oh, and there's a spin from Uriah, but Sean was out of range. Sean kicks. There's 1 second to go, and that's it. Look, when Uriah starts moving and throwing his kicks and feinting, and Sean's having to react, that's when it's dangerous. That's when Uriah Hall looks really dangerous. First Australian said, I want Byes to kick me in the head like that. I'm ready. Johnson said, look at Uriah's left eye. Yeah, I mean, he probably did take a punch. You know what I mean? Don't underestimate the jabs. Bam, 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 bam. That Sean's been throwing. Sean throws them crisp, man, and he throws them good. So don't underestimate that. Don't underestimate what that does. What that does to your eye socket. What that does to your cuts. Any scar tissue that you have, and the fact that it can just cut you. And you're feeling it, man. You're feeling it. It doesn't take a lot. It does not take a lot. The only thing is because Uriah is dark, you can't see the bruising as well. But it doesn't take a lot to start hurting someone. We're off, people. Both guys touch gloves. I don't know who's winning. I feel Sean's winning, but that's just me commentating. I'm not judging. That's why I give that disclaimer. The kicks are now starting to come from Uriah, which is nice. As he starts to give more movement and more it starts to look. That's when Uriah is making Sean react. If not, he's not reacting, and Sean's just picking him off and hitting him with the little jabs. Now, as Uriah starts to move, feint with his legs, starts to become more difficult for Sean. Uriah's in the southpaw stance now. Nice little jab landed by Sean. Uriah looking to spin. Nice movement by Uriah. He's thrown two kicks, one to the inside leg and the other one as a front kick. Moving his hands. He's giving Sean different reads, Nice inside kick, but that was checked by Sean. Uriah looks for the oblique kick. Uriah uses that front kick to measure so he can spin when he throws those kicks and that like that. But that eye is starting to close, man. That eye is starting to close pretty bad, that left eye. Pretty bad. And again, these are things that we can see him now, but if you're there, oh, nice takedown by Sean. Sean takes him down and straight away starts landing big shots on Uriah Hall. This is the fight. They're going to call the fight here. This is it. This is over. I think they're going to call it. Uriah Hall's taking a massive walloping there. You can. This is what I was talking about. How he defends like this with his chest on the cage, which makes it hard to take down. And Sean here should just stomp the shit out of his legs and knee his calves, because it's going to be very hard to take Uriah Hall down from this position. You can see how wide his base is. So you just here you stomp on the feet. That's what I was saying to you before when I was doing the breakdown before this fight. That's what we knew that he would do that when Rob fought him. So I said to him, just stomp the shit out of his feet when he does that. Don't even bother trying to take him down. But Sean took him down. But he gets right back up. That's the thing with Uriah Hall. And then you're wasting a lot of energy. Here, I would just be kneeing the calves, because the knees to the calves do a lot of damage, man. They really hurt. Knees to the calves, big foot stomps, and Uriah has to change, has to move. Sean, what he got him to the ground, went straight to work. That's a thing that sometimes people can't see. That's why he's going for a broomstick sweep, is Sean. You can't see sometimes the actual damage that happened in a fight. Whereas now watching like this, you can see that Uriah is really hurt, and Sean's doing a fantastic job of just rubbing his face and covering his nose and things. Sean is a really, really, really nasty character, man. Big fan of his. Just rubbing his gloves all over the guy's face and everything after you can tell there's something wrong, with the eye. Putting pressure on it and staying in that half guard position, it's really, really impressive what Sean's doing here. And this is just wearing Uriah Hall out as well, 1 minute to go. Sean's not even trying to pass. He's not trying to pass. He's using that half guard as a Turk ride to just keep Uriah Hall pinned down. 59 seconds to go. Shoulder pressure now from Strickland. Now Strickland's looking to pass. He's got good shoulder pressure. He's a lot better on the ground than Uriah. I can see that like this. Landing good ground and pound is Sean. Nice work, Sean. He takes his back. He's got the back. He's got both hooks sunk in. 22 seconds to go. I think he won't get the rear naked. I don't think. He may switch to an armbar because there's not long to go. There's 10 seconds to go. He should. Is the great show of control though from Sean. Really, really good. Time. um, First Australian said, Sean said, one more win after Uriah and he gets a title shot like Rob wouldn't take his head clean off. I think Rob would win. But this Sean's one of those guys, man, that fights ugly and just gets past people that you don't think he's going to get past. TJ says, I'm drunk and watching this fight with just my dog next to me. So I'll throw this thought out to you good people. Much respect to these fighters getting locked in a cage, stand toe-to-toe and fist-to-fist. Thank you, sir. Johnson Street says, Sean's boxing is so impressive. He controls the pocket extremely well. His vision is good. It's so good. He sees everything coming and usually reacts in time. Yeah. He's one of those guys that, like I said, like is better than you think he is. You know what I mean? And yeah, he's just better than you think he is. Boyo says, I think Sean is a great case study for new fighters because he shows how far a good 1-2 can really take you. Yeah, that's I 100% agree with that. Like he's got really he's one of the few guys that can jab, you know. Uriah Hall's looking for a calf kick and Sean just slides out of the way. Uriah Hall's looking for a big right hand at the top. Sean slides out of the way again. Nice little jab by Sean. Nice outside hook by Sean. There's still a lot of guys that he'd have to fight. I think at least one or two more guys that you have to see him in the upper echelons. But this fight's not over, man. This is the fourth round. Uriah is always dangerous. Nice work here by Sean. And the other thing, he's got a lot of experience. I think he turned professional at 16 or something like that. He's 30 now. You know, he's got a lot of fighting experience, a lot of fighting experience. So he knows how to do what he needs to do to win, and he knows what he can do. It's not just knowing what you can do, it's having the confidence to do that. And he's very confident in his abilities and he's able to do what he does. So he's very, very good. Which, by the way, I've always been on that bandwagon. So, yeah. And he's like a big, rangy guy as well. Awkward guy to fight. And he checks the kicks too. It's not like he doesn't know that the kicks are coming. He checks the kicks. And the thing is, like Uriah Hall, he's Strickland is out striking him. He's out striking him and outboxing him and outmaneuvering him on the ground. He's out fighting him. Uriah is trying to fight out of the southpaw stance. Switches back to orthodox. And Sean just staying the course, man. It's just the jab, 1-2. Jab, 2-1-2. Kind of swings on a right hand, like a hook from a kind of lead hook from the right hand. And they're his punches, you know. 2 minutes to go in this fourth round. And Sean just landing jab after jab after jab. That can really start to damage your eyes, man. Really start to damage your eyes. But I do think that Rob's a really bad matchup for someone like Sean. A really, really bad matchup. But Sean has better takedown defense and better jiu-jitsu than people give him credit for as well. And he's very aware of the kicks. So it'd be interesting. Very interesting. Well, TJC says Strickland's got a great check hook. Would love to see it more with more power behind it. But I think the fact that the way that he throws it means he can throw it all night. All night. We Are Live says, bro, the Reaper would walk through Strickland. Oh, big right hand by Sean. Sean then shoots for a double on Uriah, takes Uriah Hall down. I would definitely favor Rob in that matchup, but I don't think he'd walk through Strickland. I don't think Sean is that is an easy matchup for anyone. He's a very, very awkward guy. Very awkward guy to get a timing on. And he's all over Uriah. He is all over Uriah now. And he's pushing Uriah into the cage. Lands another nice jab on Uriah, right on that eye. Right on that eye. That eye's a mess. Uriah's eye is a complete mess. Uriah aims for a little leg kick. Sean kind of rolls with those punches, even like you see his head snap back, but he's already rolling with a shot. And that's a 5th round. Yeah, Uriah's in a bit of trouble with that eye. It's hard to see it as well because his skin is dark, so you can't see the bruising in the same way. So I can't see if it's an orbital. I can't see because the guy's hand's in the way as well. And there's obviously a cut there, but I don't know if it's his orbital that's a little bit messed up as well. It's definitely cut. They're putting the adrenaline and the Vaseline there, but it looks like his orbital's jacked to me. The TJC, there is a bit of a Philly shell there. There is 100%. Gary the Goat says, yeah, he wasn't holding. That's how Uriah defends her. He turns and he defends like that. So his base is broader, makes it hard to take him down. But if you're not trying to take him down, you're not wasting energy. His eye is jacked. Sean, yeah, that little check hook he throws, like it's spot on, like the way that he throws that little check hook. You know, you don't want to see it with the reason if you throw it with more power, you can start to telegraph it a little bit more. He just lands it and stings you. Don't write Sean off against anyone, man. Like I really wouldn't. He's a very, very tough character. He's a very, very, very tough character. Oh, hit him with a check hook and then a right hand right behind it. My God. Very tough character, this Sean. And he's got a gas tank on him too. He's a diesel engine with a good chin, with good timing, man. But yeah, man, Hall's just taking a beating. A real proper beating, you know? Oh my God. And see, fights like this is what people don't get. This hurts your career. Like this hurts your brain. Like the amount of shots. They don't seem like there's a lot on them, but it's a 5-round beating. Like you kept getting your head hit for 5 rounds. It's no good. And they're exchanging. This fight's all Sean's like this. Sean pushes him out of the way so he can hit him at the end of the punches. Uriah looks like he's swimming underwater. Like he's not. This is not Uriah's game to be in here dirty boxing with someone like Sean. This is Sean's world like that. Back fists him, does Sean. Another little right hand lead. There's not much coming back on the way of offense from Uriah Hall, and Sean is very, very relaxed in the way that he's hitting him. He knows he's hurting him. He knows he's stinging him. There's not a lot of coming back from Uriah Hall as Sean starts to land more and more. Uriah Hall is just a super tough guy, but man, he's taking a lot of punishment from Sean with 2 minutes and 38 seconds to go. I told you when I saw him fight Tom Breeze, that's when I thought this guy's good, man. Like he's just like an awkward character, but he's good. He's got the body lock on Uriah Hall now. Uriah Hall pummels in. He's just head pressure from Strickland. Strickland lands a 1-2 on Hall. That 1-2 landed. That 1-2 landed good on Hall. And he's not throwing him hard. He's not. That's way worse because he can do this all night, dude. He can do this all night, and he just pushes Uriah back. There's 114 head strikes by Strickland. 114 shots are landed on on Hall, and more to come. You know, you got to think of that, man. Like that's not good for you, man. Knees down the middle, 1 minute and 26 seconds to go. Shoulder strikes now by Strickland in the clinch. Good work by Strickland. Man, this fight was really, really good from Strickland. It just shows the kind went for a 2-1 and then a body shot, just making it awful and ugly in there is Strickland. Nice little uppercut landed by Uriah Hall. Strickland and Darren Till, you know, there's a few interesting fights there. That would be a really interesting one. My God, he just keeps coming, Strickland. Uriah Hall's in all sorts of trouble. Joshua Sanders says, who do I have? Strickland and Costa. Strickland, if it gets past 5 minutes. You know, like if it gets past, ooh, nice spinning elbow by Strickland. Strickland really unloading on Costa now. On Uriah Hall. Mate, he landed so many shots. First Australian says Uriah Hall and Derek Brunson have the biggest discrepancies in terms of fight IQ. They either look like world beaters or like my nan would batter their chins. I think they're similar in just like the way if they can get their game off, if you let them get their game off, either one of those guys, you know, they've got the physicality and they probably always had the physicality, you know what I mean, growing up and whatnot. They've got the physicality to put it on you, you know, if they can get their game on. Once they don't get their game on, there is no plan B or C, you know. And out of Strickland and Costa, yeah, outside of 5 minutes, Strickland. I don't like Costa's boxing is not on that level. It's not. You know, you saw even when his fight with Uriah was landing the jabs and the shots, but he's just fucking bullied through and he's big and strong. But outside that first 6-7 minutes, once the jabs start to land and the shots start to land, I got Strickland. All day. Of course, Costa can land shots, but Strickland knows this. You know what I mean? He's very experienced now. He knows this. He can pressure Costa in other ways too. He can pressure him with takedowns. He can pressure him to make him work, to make him move. You know, make him work, make him waste energy. Strickland versus Rockhold. Who have I got? The problem is, man, that Rockhold's almost 40. You know what I mean? He's 40, I think. I'm pretty sure he's 40. if not a little older. Man, Uriah Hall's face is completely messed up, man. Completely messed up. Strickland beat him up bad, like bad. Being a good sport about it is Strickland, which I like to see. He beat him up bad. He really, really beat him up bad. Um, Rockhold, like he's fantastic. You know, I don't know that I don't know. It's one of those things, man. When you get to a certain age, it's like Uriah Hall now, man. At 37, he does not look like the Uriah Hall of 4 or 5 years ago. You know, he just doesn't. You know, and there's a point where you kind of just fall off the bandwagon, and I don't know if that time is now for Rockhold or not. I don't know. I don't know. It's a mystery. I don't know. Um, Dreamer Knight says, like Hall, being in shape, strong with muscles means nothing when someone is hitting you in the face. Um, Yeah, but I mean, Hall can fight, dude. He's not just mirror muscles. JLA says, Sean just made Uriah look old. Bellator now. Well, Gary the Goat says, Rockhold is 36. The disrespect fab. Yeah, I don't know how old he was, man. I knew he was getting close to 40. If he's 36, um, no, he's still probably all right. I don't know. I don't know. I just haven't seen him fight other than when he fought young. You know what I mean? I haven't seen him fight for a long time. If he's 36, he's still like within shooting range. You know what I mean? But he's also had a fucking tough career. That's probably why I said he's fucking close to 40. He's had a rough time as well, man. He's had some big wars in there, you know. He's taken some big damage off people. So I don't know. I don't know. Jacob says Sean's jab would work well on Costa. Costa's such a scrappy fighter and he's always there to be hit. He could blitz early or else he gets outstruck over 5. Yeah. Not only that, dude, I think he would get finished. Like, you know how he was there with Uriah Hall? I don't even I think that he would finish him. Christian Lawrence says I see Izzy and Rob picking apart Strickland for days. I would imagine that they would. You know what I mean? I would imagine that they would. Um, I would imagine that they would. That's my pick. Got to see Strickland versus someone who can control the distance, Rob or Israel. Yeah. Chuck Les says, thanks, coach. Fab, I'm going to the beach. Enjoy, sir. JLA says, Weidman and Rockhold have not seen the same after their war. They've just taken a lot of damage, dude. A lot of damage. DJ Bohm says Hall just beat Silva. Yeah, but Silva's older, man. Like he's a lot older. First Australian says Rockhold's last few fights were bad. That knockout to Romero was fucked, and then he got laid out in light heavyweight in bad fashion too by Jan, I believe. Yeah, man. Like that takes its toll, dude. That takes its toll. I don't know where he's at. You know what I mean? I don't know where he's at. I'm just saying that's where the mystery lies, I suppose. Christian Lorenz says, can you agree that the Philly shell, more than other boxing styles, needs to be used in specific situations rather than adapted fully as a part of one style in MMA? It does more openings. It does have more openings at range. I think the Philly shell should be used more in MMA, but I think all like all those defenses have their time to be used. You know what I mean? There's different ones you're going to use at different times. But the Philly shell, I think, or variations of the Philly shell are things that you should very good in MMA from a boxing perspective. Beetlejuice says, "Hey Fab, have you been sitting there since last night? You're a machine." I have not. Christian Lorenz says the peekaboo and other styles have been more successful. I think the peekaboo style works really well as well, not better. I think that stuff like the peekaboo style, not many people can do it properly, and it's just something that guys do because it's more natural to do that and come forward. Then the Philly shell, you have to actually learn how to box to do it, and not many people, even in MMA, have actually learned to box properly. Um, TJC says, throw some respect on Weidman, you animals. Laugh out loud. He's from my area. He's from my area, and he's got a new podcast, and so he should. He was on our podcast too, man. He's a champion. Sage says, love you, Fab. Thanks for the commentary. JLA says, Emmanuel Sanchez fight just started. Christian Lorenz says, yeah, Rockhold's chin has taken massive amounts of damage. So does Ala Quinta. And Sasank says, great stuff, Fab. And I say to you guys, thank you very much, man. Manny says, are you watching the Pitbull and AJ fight? Are you going to stay on for Bellator? I seriously doubt it, but I'm going to see what's happening with my family. Maybe I might just keep it rolling, if I can. If you guys allow me to have a second, um, I will not, people. I will not. I will not. But thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Christian Lorenz says the calf kick is open for Rob and Izzy on Strickland all day long with many other strikes. Dude, Sean checks those kicks, man. He's pretty good. Yeah, I won't be able to, man. So I will be leaving, people. Thank you very much, guys. I really appreciate it, and look after yourselves. So thank you so much for everything. Thank you for being part of the show. I really, really, really appreciate it, man. It's pretty fucking cool that you guys do it. Um, 1 second, I want to see something. I want to see if I can. Okay, we're staying on, people. We are staying on. Let me, because I think my wife just messaged me. She's putting the baby to bed. So we're staying on. I'm just going to keep rolling now. Um, okay. So we are on the Bellator card now. And I'm only doing this due to popular demand. Okay, so we are at Emmanuel Sanchez versus Burnell. Burnell's getting nice punching here in the pocket. Uh, I'm um I'm just doing this as we're going. So obviously this fight is one of three, and we've already caught this at the end of the first round. It is an absolute scrap, as I can see. Both guys going at it pretty hard. Burnell and Emmanuel Sanchez. Again with the calf kick from Burnell. What I saw was right at the end. Fuck, these guys are throwing in the pocket so hard. Man, there's some good fighters out there, even outside of the UFC, you know. Sage says, Fab, you're a goat. You legit haven't moved since last night. Yeah, I'm here, man. I'm going for it. I'm going for another big takedown by Burnell. Good work by Burnell. Really, really impressed so far by him, just from what I've seen. And he's looks like Sanchez is like breathing a little as well, you know. That's the round. That was a good takedown by Burnell. That was his second takedown that I've seen. First Australian says, Fab, little bit out of left field, but a friend asked me the other day if Paddy Mills is the greatest Australian Olympic representative of all time if the Boomers get a medal in around 2 weeks. It No, I can't. Like, I'm a huge fan of Paddy Mills. I love Paddy Mills. I want every ounce of my being wants to say yes, but I mean, I'm up for grabs. Like, I'm up to listen why he would be the greatest one, because it is a team sport, man. So that's a little bit hard, that one. There's a lot of some pretty fucking amazing Australian Olympians we've had. Um, Like, you know, and we're only just thinking very, very, very reasonable, very, very recently. But I even think of people like Thorpe and people like that took numerous medals in one games, you know. Um, so yeah. Anyways, we're off again, but I hope so. I hope fucking Pat Mills wins a gold, man. I fucking and the Australian team wins a gold, and I'd be happy to name a street after him, and I'd be happy to name, you know, a whole fucking highway after him. I just don't know that he'd actually be the like what Kathy Freeman did was pretty fucking special as well, you know. And that's an individual sport. It's easier to say because it's not just him. Is my studio in my house? Yes, sir. Yes, it is. TJ says, "Damn it, Fab! I've been up since 5 a.m. Now you're staying on. Now I've got to stay on." Thank you, sir. Thank you. Have I seen many savage dog fights in Western Sydney? No, I have seen a few dog fights though. I have seen few dog fights. Oh, Jacob, how cool is Stephen Bradbury? Man, I was fucking like, that's probably, honestly, I'm not going to lie to you, that's the hardest I've ever cheered for any Australian Olympian. And that couldn't, like, you could not ask for that to happen ever, ever. I cheered so hard for that guy, dude. You don't understand how hard I cheered. And there's nothing about me that relates to him. That's what's scary. Like, there was nothing about me that relates to him at all. Emmanuel Sanchez landing the 1-2 there. Ooh, left body rip by Burnell. This Burnell guy can fight, dude. So can Emmanuel Sanchez. Then he goes big blast double, does Burnell and picks Emmanuel Sanchez up, drops him down. Man, this, if I'm not mistaken, I'm pretty sure Mads Burnell won like ADCC or something, the European trials or something. I don't know if I'm correct with this. Yeah, he's European no-gi champion in 2014. Man, and he can box too. This guy can fight. This guy can fight. And Sanchez is looking, man, but Burnell just puts a pace on and he just keeps going. Burnell again going for that double. Man, this Danish guy can really fight. Now I'm just going to look at his record. Okay, so he's lost a couple of fights in the UFC. And yeah, but he's very, very good, man. He's really, really good. And I think he lost him at a heavier weight too, because now he's fighting at featherweight. Fuck, this featherweight division looks pretty good in Bellator, man. There's a lot of good featherweights fighting in Bellator. It's a really good level. Like people talk about the B League and blah blah blah, but certain weight divisions like the featherweights at here look good, man. They look really good. Oh, spinning wheel kick by Sanchez. Beetlejuice says just PayPal you $20 for the overtime. Thank you, Playboy. No, fuck. Thank you guys, man. You guys are the best. You guys make it happen, my brother. So thank you very much. If it wasn't for you guys, there would be no show, zero show. So I appreciate you guys so much. Another left body rip by Burner. Thank you, man. I really appreciate it, man. Christian Lorenz says the Aussie team can make the final quite possibly. Men's USA has bollocks themselves this year. Well, they've lost one, haven't they? They've only lost against France, have they not? Sage says, how good is Thibault defense? Good. He's good. Paddy Mills for Prime Minister. Yeah, man, I'd vote for him, man. I like him. Any thoughts on the Batty moving to UFC? What do you mean, Batty? I don't know who you're talking about there. Christian Lorenz says Sanchez has a martial artist thumbnail on his shorts. Pip Dennison says, same, Bradbury is the best. Dude, I cheered so hard for Bradbury, like so fucking hard. If anyone that's not Australian doesn't know who Bradbury is, look him up. Because me and my dad doesn't get excited for anything, you know, he's like a old school Latino kind of stoic dude. And we cheered so hard for this guy. My dad never cheers, let alone Winter Olympics. We cheered. We were so pumped for that guy. We were so pumped for him. Burnell's all over Sanchez now in this fight. There's 16 seconds to go in the second round, and Burnell's pumping him. Oh, yes. I know who you're talking about. Well, we got to see him in the UFC first. You know what I mean? That's honestly, that's what I do think that. Christian Lorenz says, truth, the US gets focused, they can win, but they went 1-3 in the warm-ups. Yeah, I do think that basketball is becoming much more a global event than it ever has been before. Like, especially in the last 10 years or so, the difference, 10, even 20 years, like it started to make a difference. But um, in the last 10 years, especially, like it's just like I watched Germany play the other day and I was like super impressed by them. They lost to Australia, but like they were good, man. Like they were good, better than I thought they'd be. Um, Manny says, who do you have winning the main event? I believe Pitbull is too experienced and too much for AJ. Well, we're going to see because I think this is the 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 come out party, right? And we're going to see how that goes. Um, Christian Rain said, should Shane Warne ref Rob versus Gallen? I think that's normal. I think that's who should referee. Shane Warne should referee every single combat event in Australia ever. Christian Lorenz says, you're right, Fab. The world teams have gotten much, much better. Luca alone can carry his team to the final. Yeah, the other thing is when you start seeing like the amount of first round draft picks that are coming from other countries as well, like in the NBA, it's it's interesting, and how strong some of the Euro leagues are and how strong the Euro League is. And I meant other European leagues. Again with a takedown. Big takedown by Burnell. You are a champion, Beetlejuice, a real champion, a man's man, mate. A man's man. I appreciate it very, very much. He's taking the back. He's looking to take the back. He's taking the back, Burnell has. His jiu-jitsu slick, dude. Real slick. He's going to look to take the mount from here, I believe. Emmanuel's no slouch on the ground either. He knows what's going on. Beetlejuice says, anytime, my bro. Pink Blue says, yes, the world is caught up in basketball, but no individual country come close to the US in basketball talent. Of course not, man. And don't forget as well, the US has what, 350 million people. So if they didn't have, and it's like one of their national sports, so if they didn't have the depth in basketball talent, I would be very, very, very disappointed in the US. DJ Bohm says, Paddy the Baddie, lower level British champ, has signed with UFC. I think he's 155. Yeah. Oh, no, I knew he was. When he just said the Baddie, I wasn't sure what he was talking about. Fab, who do you follow in the NBA? I don't really follow the NBA that much. I take it you're a Celtics fan. I'd like to. Oh, nice reversal, fat man roll by Sanchez. Nice reversal. Now he's inside control on Burnell, but I don't think it's going to be enough to win unless he stops him. He's gone into a half guard. Burnell's looking for a deep half himself. Doing a good job of pinning his legs together is Sanchez so that Burnell can't get underneath him. But Burnell has the underhook. So he's got the correct underhook. He's sliding Sanchez's leg out, which is what you should do. And, mate, what good use of jiu-jitsu. I couldn't even keep up with the commentary. Well done, which is what I was going to say. But, man, he's just so slick. So good on the ground is Burnell. And he can box too. Yeah, so if I had to pick a team right now that I follow, it's probably follow is too strong a word. I don't follow them, but I'll go for them every time they're playing. If I get a chance to watch them, I like the Mavericks and I like Golden State. That's me. Christian Lorenz, favorite European country, like for basketball, or that I've been, or that I'd like to go. Is what's like? Because could you elaborate on that, AG? Christian Lorenz says Sanchez looking for this Kimura, but it's not going to work. And Burnell is sitting on that leg. There's 1 minute and 47 seconds to go. So Sanchez can't get that leg out. And Burnell's going to win this fight, I think, other than some Hail Mary from Sanchez. great job by Burnell. I'm so impressed by Burnell. And I do think that a couple of the losses that he had in the UFC were at lightweight, my understanding of that. And that makes a big difference, man. At featherweight, he looks the goods, man. He really does. Really, really, really good fighter. Really impressive. You know, his boxing's really good. His jiu-jitsu's really good. He hit big doubles. His timing on those doubles and his takedowns is really good. His ability to seamlessly put his striking and his jiu-jitsu together is really good. Really, really good. And that level of jiu-jitsu is impressive, man. Um, okay. Christian Lorenz says Luca is a monster. Giannis is a monster. The French NBA players, the Spanish, Argentina, and the African teams are getting better, along with Australia, a staple. Hachimura even is on his way. TJC says, I've got to ask again. I watched a goose and a crane fight over a turtle today. You have any weird animal stories from your part of the world? Me, man. I've got heaps of animal stories, man. I live on the coast in Australia, man. The other day, I'll just give you a quick one. The other day, a couple of my mates were out on their boards surfing. This is like 2 weeks ago. I think I spoke about it. They were out on their boards and a great white shark breached 3 meter great white juvenile breached out right near him. Like, you know how you see him in the dockers? That's a fight. I believe Burnell won it. You know, when you see them breach in the dockers, a boom, whole body out of the water right next to them, and they shit themselves and they were looking. And then 2 seconds later, again, same, you know, like probably not 2 seconds, probably 5 minutes later, again, boom, breaches straight out of the water right next to him. And then a week later, that same shark breached, no, 3-4 days later, breached up the road from where it happened, like maybe along the stretch of coast, maybe 500 meters away. And then about 2 days after that, it breached and it knocked a kid off the surfboard, but it didn't bite anyone. Christian Laurent says the European teams are producing world-class NBA talent now. Yeah, 100%. Jacob says, I think playing versus talent improves players. So with the NBA based in the US, you end up with a huge number of skilled basketball players in the States. Man, I don't doubt it, but the numbers are huge in the US. You know what I mean? The numbers are absolutely huge. Like, it's 350 million people, and basketball is a staple there. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know, table tennis for the Chinese. Pip Dennison says Aussie BMX Street won gold. He went mental on his run. There you go. BMX. Congratulations to the dude. Pink Blue says Luca is baby bird. Christian Lorenz says the NBA has taken note and has every year the US versus World Game during All-Star Week. Baseball will follow in the US. Laugh out loud. Lucas River says, I just watch European basketball for the crowd. Croatia for European country because I'm a crow. Pip Dennison says, Vladi. AJ says, where would you be right now if MMA didn't exist as a sport? Where would I be right now? I'd probably be working in like collision sports or something like that. Doing the same thing I do, but just not with MMA. You know, it was MMA just kind of happened because it happened, but I always worked with sport, always worked with athletes, always did combat sports, but before MMA got big, so to speak, because I started at the cusp of it. You know, it wasn't really mainstream. No, not wasn't really. It wasn't mainstream at all. So my career path was to work in sport with rugby league, with basketball, with athletes. You know, not so much necessarily with the but it just happened that at combat sports. Um, Pip Dennison says he's a happy shark. Take him out a chop, and he'll leave you alone. There you go. TJC says, laughing my fucking ass off. I'm talking about dumbass birds and a dumb slow ass turtle, and you give me great white shark stories. Coolest animal we have on Long Island are foxes and the occasional dopey deer. Well, you know, you ask, sir, I will deliver. You ask, and I deliver. That's what I do. Now I've got heaps of stories. I told you I've got a mate, and Pip knows who this guy is. That like removes snakes from people's houses, and it's usually pythons. It's usually diamond pythons. which can be mean, and they can bite you, and they're big, And this guy, credit to him, has been almost a year sober, but he drink a lot, and people would call him and they say, "Hey, so and so, come and take the snake out of our house." And he went to someone's house, and when he went to the person's house, he was drunk. He was so drunk that he picked up the snake, right? And he's a fucking savage. He just picked up this snake and then he brought it down to where everybody was hanging out. And the snake, it wasn't a python, it was a tiger snake. And tiger snake is like top 5 most venomous snakes in the world. And there's a video of it. I've got a video of it. And the snake, like, I wanted nothing to do with it. I wasn't there that day, but the video was there. But the tiger snake was like snapping at him and everything. And I don't know how the fuck this guy hasn't died. Like, the amount of shit this guy's done in his life, I have no idea how he hasn't died. There's these pine trees they're like real high here in on the coast, on the south coast. Anyone that's from the New South Wales South Coast kind of knows what I'm talking about. When you're driving through along the water, you see those kind of pines that go all the way up. This dude and his mates, when they were kids, used to climb right to the top on windy days, and we get real hardcore wind here on the south coast because there's nothing. It's just Pacific Ocean. So when the right winds come, it's just ocean. Boom, wait, and he and his mates would climb up, and they'd just hold on at the top of this pine tree. I don't know, man. Easy 10 meters. What's that? 30 feet for our American friends. And you see the pines go like this, and they would just hold on at the top as it's swinging. And one day, one of their mates fell off the top there and broke everything: pelvis, chest, back, everything. Somehow or other, he didn't get paralyzed, but he broke everything. So that's the same guy that catches those tiger snakes. They caught that tiger snake by accident when he just meant to catch the diamond python. So there's a few stories there, a few animal stories for you, man. Yeah, like there's heaps, man. Another mate of mine, another guy that we know, he's a fucking wild man, like a hardcore wild man. He's the guy that I spoke about before. Like there's a surf break here around here that used to be quite territorial. It's still very territorial. And this guy was like, he's an ex first grade football player, a real hard man. You know what I mean? Ex first grade footballer, hard dude. He went to jail. He was a standover man for a long time. He used to rob drug dealers. He's an older guy now. He's about 60 something years old. Still jacked. He's an ex heroin addict, like a full hardcore story. And he lives in this hut in the bush. Anyways, he was down there surfing this break. And some of you have already heard this because I've already told it, but this is for you, TJC. And he was surfing this break, and the surfers turned on him. It was very territorial about, being on that particular break or whatever. And they flogged him, they bashed him. And he ran to his car, and he kept the red-bellied black snake, which is a poisonous snake. He kept that in a pillowcase in his car just for these kinds of occasions. And he ran back out with a red-bellied black snake, took it out of the pillowcase, chased the dudes down. One of the guys in his, panic to get out of the way fell over. And as he fell over, he held the snake to the guy's face and flogged the guy back. So there's another crazy story. You can feel free to tell, TJC. Christian Lorenz says, is the wallaby the best grappler amongst all Aussie animals? No, man. The diamond python, I think, any of those reticulated pythons, I think, are the best grapplers because they will just choke you to bits. So there you go, TJC. There's a couple of good stories. The same guy with the snake, with a pillowcase and the snake. The same guy. He lives, like I said, he lives out in the bush, and he used to give. There's deer everywhere, and he got disemboweled by one of his deer that he used to feed. They were fighting, and it turned and gouged him, with the antlers, and he had to hold his guts in and walk 45 minutes up a hill, like up this, and it's bush hill, like it's a mountain, to get back onto the main road to get someone like basically hitchhike to the nearest hospital, and he survived. He's another dude that's like a tough old man, dude. I don't know how he hasn't died. First Australian says, as a kid, I lived in Alice Springs, and I was playing on an arcade game, like a rally car game, and a king brown snake was behind the arcade machine and chased me. I had to jump on top of a table. man. And King Browns will literally chase you, man. They're fucking mean as, man. How is Alice Springs? Is it proper wild living out there in Alice Springs? Christian Lorenz says, does the Wallaby then have the best scrambling ability? Well, I have to give the scrambling ability to Tasmanian Devil. Lucas River says, Jesus in fact. CSS Voden says, are you watching Bellator? I am. We're about to watch a main card of Bellator now, coming up. TJC asked me those questions and then he left. You know, I took the time of telling these horrendous stories, which are all, you know, here, they happened here. And he just left. I don't know. What do you say to that? TJC says, Fab, you know, I'm here every time I can be. To everyone in the chat, bomb Joe Rogan's social media, get Fab on there. Let's grow this channel. Let's do that, mate. Let's do it. I would like this channel to get to 50,000 subscribers. And hit the like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you can. Who do I have? McKee or Pitbull? I can't really pick them, man. I can't. I really can't. Pip Dennison says he used to take his pet deer shopping with him at Helensburgh Coles. Well, there you go. That's the guy we're talking about. So for those of you that don't know, like it's just a shopping center in this small kind of country town, and the guy used to take his deer with him, which his deer then turned on him, like Brutus did to Julius Caesar. Christian TJC says, "Whoa, I'm here, dude, mate. I just wanted to make sure that you heard the stories and that I didn't tell the animal stories in vain." Because TJC, I wanted you to hear those stories. Christian Lorenz says, have you seen the manta ray and what is the largest stingray you've seen? We don't have manta rays here, or like here where we see them, but we get like these stingrays that come out to the boat ramps around here, around the south coast, and they're easily 200-300 kilograms stingrays. They're fucking huge, like huge. You know, like longer than my arms are, like this, and I've got long arms, like longer than my wingspan, and fat, you know, 200, 300 kilos, 250 kilos, massive, huge ones. All the boat ramps along the south coast, at least, probably everywhere, but I know the south coast, all the boat ramps in that have them. Woodley and Paul, who do you guys have? I have Paul winning that fight. Yeah, so I've never seen a manta ray. I've just seen big ass rays, man. I've seen them in the water. I've seen them off the like looking at them from the top, not in the water. Yeah, and in the water, they to me, anyways. I'm not a like a crazy waterman or something. So to me, yeah, they're pretty fucking scary, dude. They're scary. Christian Lorenz says the mantas live off the New Zealand coast. Was just wondering about the stingrays, as they say they get massive, by UFO. Yeah, they get big, man. They do. They get real fucking big. Like I said, 250 kilos probably. Jacob says, I remember watching people hand feed 1.5 wide stingrays at a boat ramp as a kid. Don't remember where at though. Anywhere along the south coast, there are those stingrays. First Australian says, Alice has a city centre which is modern. I would say if you leave the city centre, it's basically being out bush. It's just red dirt and salt bushes everywhere. Lots of wildlife. Loved living there. Hey, was the night sky crazy? Because me and my wife were meant to go there now, but it was lockdown. I got a friend of mine, Joseph, actually, his name is, and he lives out there. He's like a tour guide for like, so you can see the stars and that at night, like stargazing astronomy tours. And you're meant to go there in winter, and it's just amazing. Is that true? First Australian, is it really, really amazing, the stars? Lucas Rivers says, deer in Australia are a real problem. It's crazy how many invasive species are responsible for making native wildlife extinct. Yeah, man. Yeah, it's insane. The deer. And there's culling happening around here all the time, but we should just eat the meat. I don't know what they do with the meat, you know, because deer meat's good. Deer meat's real good. No. Lucas River says deer in Australia are a real problem. It's crazy how. Oh, sorry. TJC says I've seen Rays was up on Jones Beach here, but I got a feeling they've been dead for a while. The water is too cold here. Sometimes we get sea lions during the summer. Pretty cool. Okay, so you're in New York. Yeah, fuck, it would be cold the water there. Yeah, we get seals here. We get seals all the time, like a fair bit. We get seals, penguins as well. There's penguin colonies here, and we don't get them as much. Like you don't see them. Seals you see. Christian Lorenz says same in NZ due to rats and stouts. Almost half of all their native species have been wiped out since European arrival. And in New Zealand, it's bad because the rats would be able to pretty much kill anything. You know what I mean? Like they don't have like rats, wouldn't kill a kangaroo, say, but they don't have stuff like that in NZ. Alka Yumi says, after all these animal stories, I'm glad I live in a desert. You'd have snakes, badass snakes in the desert. Which desert do you live in, Alka Yumi? Sage says, you should come down Copacabana, great surf, and Ross Pearson lives across the road in Copa. Oh, man, I can't surf to begin with. But I like Ross Pearson. He's a good dude, man. Pip Dennison says there was a seal out at Menzies today. Was it really? Was it a big seal, Pip? Was it out far? Christian Lorenz says, Fab, there is a YouTube channel called RNZ, and they have a series called Fight for the Wild. I recommend it. It's a very good series, only 4 episodes that you can watch with Baby Chino. All right, I will do that. I will do that. Alka Yumi says, I don't live in the desert, but Al Ain, a city in Abu Dhabi. Oh, okay. Do you like it there? Now, Ross Pearson seems like a good dude. I like him. I like him. Just the small interactions I've had with him, he seems like a good guy. Oh, McKee hit him with a big left hand. I'm really pumped to see this fight, actually. And the backflip. Man, he's good, on the ground, McKee. I just haven't, it's going to be interesting watching him against Pitbull. Pip Dennison says, not massive, but in close in the seaweed bed. Wow. Alka Yumi says, small city, very peaceful. I like it. Sage says, have you ever been to Copacabana on the Central Coast near Avoca and Gosford? Pretty good surf on the coast and good fishing. I have been there several times. I have been there quite a few times. It's a beautiful part of the world. Absolutely beautiful part of the world. My wife and I had tossed up between going um, Central Coast or down south, but for whatever reason, we just kind of both fell in love here in this little stretch of the coast. Christian Lorenz says McKee reminds me of a different yet more modern version of Anthony Pettis. I can see that. I can see that. Sage says we are very lucky. Yes, sir. Yes, we are. First Australian says, yeah, Alice is awesome at night, but again, the serenity you can only experience out bush in nature, and experiencing it that way. I'm in Cairns now, and you hear some crazy Kasawari stories up here. Tell me a Kasawari story, because I was, you know what, when we were talking earlier, I was going to ask if anyone had any. I was honestly going to ask if anyone had any Kasawari stories, but yeah, I'm interested if anyone does. Guys, please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already, because I would like more subscribers. I would like us to have more subscribers, more people watching the videos, more people following the channel. So yes. So now the walkouts are about to happen. I remember watching McKee's dad fight, and it must have been. I'm gonna look him up. when that fight was and what card it was because I was there. I'm looking- I remember watching him fight, and I can't remember where it was, but I'll tell you now. I'm about to tell you right now, and it must have been maybe not 20, but 15 years ago. Okay, it's hard to get a gauge on it too because he's fought so much. Okay, whenever he fought in Australia, I'm sure he did. I'm sure it was him. Maybe it's not on his record. I'm sure it was him. Yeah, he fought Sydney, Australia, 2011. So it was only 10 years ago. And it was against Jai Bradney. I was there for that fight. And I remember watching him fight. And I remember when he fought Jai Bradney. It was 10 years ago. Sorry, my dates are all. Christian Laurent. No, I did not see the guy that showed up to the press conference in Sydney. McKee's about to walk out. He's got a cool tracksuit. Man, I like that tracksuit. And he's got money that he's going to throw out. If someone could get in contact with him, please, guys, and tell him if he could just donate some of that money to the podcast, it'd help a lot. Instead of just throwing it to the crowd willy nilly, if that is what he plans to do. That is what he did. AJ McKee, 9 first round finishes, 6 KOs, 3 subs. He's a hell of a fighter, man. Christian Lorenz says, I'm telling you, Fabio reminds me of Pettis, but more modern and a different style. I get what you're saying. Sage says, having a VB, listening to Fab and smoking the devil's lettuce, it doesn't get better. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it, man. I really appreciate it. So we got 5 rounds of savagery, hopefully, because these guys are savages, these two guys in the featherweight division. I think Bellator's got a hell of a featherweight division, though. Like Bellator isn't half bad. Their promotion, not at all. Um, TJC says, I'm really not on social media, but I tell every fight fan I know about your channel. You have my favorite combat sports channel. I'm rooting for you, brother, says TJC. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. I truly, the Savage Garden would say, I truly, madly, deeply do. So thank you very much. Christian Lorenz says, would love to see Volk versus Pitbull. That would be a savage fight. Well, I'd love to see Volk versus the winner of these two. Or I'd like to see like a little 4-man tournament there, But I think that there's some good featherweights, man. Like there's some good featherweights, you know. Pitbull looks like a no nonsense character. Yeah, man. Please tell everyone you know. Tell your friends. Tell everyone you know. Tell them to please subscribe. Hit the like. Hit the like. Hit the notification bell. Like and subscribe, man. We need subscribers. We need viewers. But I really appreciate you guys watching, and I'm having a good time. Actually, I really am enjoying myself. Um, yeah, no. These guys are good, man. I'm really, really interested to see how this fight goes. And Pitbull has had 36 fights. That's a lot of fights. He's not too old. I think he's kind of right at his peak, and he's got a lot of good wins, a lot of good wins. Like he's on a big run at the moment, that includes Michael Chandler as well and Emmanuel Sanchez. Like, he lost to Benson Henderson, which is nothing to scoff at, and that was at lightweight. So, he's good, man. He's very, very, very good. There are some really good featherweights here in Bellator. Lucas River says, I like Bellator, but Scott Coker's matchmaking is dog shit most of the time. I don't know that I agree with you, man. I don't know that I agree with you. I think he's also got to do the most with what he has as well. He doesn't have the depth of the UFC, and he has to try and draw as much names as possible. So you do see some matchups that are a bit iffy, but he doesn't have the same talent pool to deal with. Christian Lawrence says the featherweights today: Pitbull, McKee, Holloway's a bit, Yair, Volk, Ortega, Zombie, Qatar, Giga, Allen, Topuria, all such high-level killers compared to the beginning of the featherweights in 2011. I agree. I have to agree with you. I have to agree with you. He's such a serious-looking cat, Pitbull. Okay, I'm just watching. Sorry, I got to close this door that's slamming. Jacob says, I really like the tournament structure that Bellator has, better in some ways than the behind the scenes matchmaking the UFC has. I prefer the tournaments too. TJ says, let's go Pitbull. Sage says, Fab ducking out to smoke the devil's lettuce again. Yeah, I don't smoke. I don't do well with that shit, man. I don't do well with any of that stuff. But yeah, let's see what happens. Okay. Mike Beltran, this referee. Sage says, I'm only joking, bro. I've heard your edible stories. Man, I'm no good. I'm a lightweight, a severe lightweight, a flyweight, really, not even a lightweight. We're about to kick off with the first round of the fight. Unknown HRG says, Mint podcast, bro. Thank you, sir. I really appreciate it, man. Please like and subscribe and hit the notification bell if you haven't already. Nice. Okay, so McKee is in the southpaw stance and he comes out looking for an oblique kick straight away, like a side kick kind of stomp into the lead leg of Pitbull. Pitbull's built like a little fire hydrant, man. He's a strong little guy. Wants to get McKee moving backwards if he can. He doesn't want to stay here where McKee can start snipering him. Again with a stomp from McKee. TJC says, I can't even find a way to watch Bellator. I'm just here for the chat and Fab's commentary. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I appreciate it. I'll do my best, man, to try and give you a good picture of what's happening with Pitbull holding the center of the octagon, trying to find a home for his jab. And McKee is staying very, very strong. The same, trying to kick those legs in. He is with that oblique kick, inside leg kick by Pitbull. Nice work by both guys so far. You can tell it's a high level fight. Rob McKenzie says, greetings from the frontier, Fab. Greetings, sir. TJC says, honestly, ready to pass out. I've been drinking with my family all day. Just hold on, TJC. Just hold on for a little bit longer. For a little bit longer. We're going to get this card going. It's almost finished. So, he's rocked Pitbull. He's kicked. He knocked Pitbull out. Has he knocked Pitbull out? No, he hasn't. Now he's going for a guillotine. He hit him with a left high kick. Now he's got his deep, deep guillotine on Pitbull. A super deep guillotine. Pitbull's trying to fight his way out of it. McKee's wrapped up his leg. He put him out. He put Pitbull out. He put Pitbull out. My God, he hit him with a left high kick. My God. Hey, man, he did a backflip and he almost kicked the guy that brings the fucking the stool in, and the guy slipped it, like perfect slipped it. My God, what a performance by McKee. My God, what a performance. He hit him with a left high kick and put him on Queer Street, dude. And then he just started unloading on him. Bum, 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 bum. Then hit this guillotine super deep in tight. You know, had the leg wrapped up and everything. Like ready for like an inside trip of a guillotine. And he Pitbull was basically out on his feet. Wow. I have to say, there's a thing about me being that I'm a tall, skinny person myself. I always go for the tall, skinny guys. I just do. I just find myself going for them. Wow. There's a few dudes, man, that'd be good to see in the UFC or to see a cross promotion. You know what I mean? I don't know that I want to see him in the UFC per se. I'd like to see as a cross promotion. I think they're arguing that he didn't tap, and it looks to me like he hadn't tapped. To be fair, because I think there was a little bit of a kerfuffle between. I think they asked McKee, and McKee said he was out, from what I can tell. But he didn't tap, I don't think, you know. So let's just see what happens here. He ate this left high kick. Falash. He was in all sorts of problems. Huge uppercut. Then he started celebrating. That gave Pitbull a chance to get up. He got up. He's in this super deep guillotine. Left high kick was money right on the chin, dude, right on the jaw. Shin to the jaw, man. All sorts of problems. Then he dropped him with an uppercut. There's the uppercut with the left hand. Drops Pitbull. He's in all sorts of trouble, but Pitbull doesn't go away. McKee thought the fight was done there, so he hit the guillotine. Now this is where it gets interesting. Hits a guillotine, knees the body. The guillotine is in super deep. I don't know how. I don't see a tap. Oh, and McKee told Beltran he's out. You know, I believe that's what happened there. He said he's out. But in fairness there, this is one of those calls, right? My understanding from that is the dude didn't tap. You know, and from a guillotine, you can put the guy out. It's a hard call. You know, what do? Do you go, okay, just like you think he's out? You let him kill him? I don't know. You know, so but I don't think he tapped, and I don't think he went limp. I don't know. He wasn't altogether when McKee let him go. I don't think he was going to get. I don't think it was going to get better for him from that position. So yeah, there's still a commotion going in Pitbull's corner. Pitbull walks over to somebody. I think it's Pamplona in his corner. Pamplona's a savage. I've seen him fight live. No, I'm not arguing the decision. I'm just telling you what happened there. Do you know what I mean? It looked like he went limp as well. Yeah, 100%. Super impressed though. Super. That high kick was, man, that was brutal. That high kick. Wow. All right, people. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you for joining me. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for watching this with me. Please hit the like and subscribe. And if you haven't already, hit the notification bell. Um, Good show of sportsmanship. $1 million goes to McKee. That's got to piss you off if you're Pitbull, but I'm sure he gets paid as well. Guys, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate it. Um, we will get together to discuss the weekend's events, possibly on Tuesday, and then we'll do a preview on Friday for Cyril Gani, and then of course we're going to watch the fights. So take care, guys, and thank you so much. Bye bye.